Welcome to the ice cold corner. I mean, the hot corner, everybody.
Ice cold.
Giants get
almost
done
was
today.
if they lost.
Yeah, if they lost, it would have been the icy corner. But the Giants win it. Welcome everybody to the hot corner, where it's Giant Sports Talk Live, NorCal Sports Network team up every Sunday night to bring you a little entertainment, a little fun. Maybe who knows where this
fresh
thing
corner.
goes.
We call it the fresh corner. I never know who's in what square. It's Hollywood squares.
You never know.
Welcome everybody. Welcome. Hey guys, let's give a shout out to quickly to our sponsors, Chapman Law Group for NorCal Sports Network. Chapman Law Group, you guys all know the drill if you listen. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licenses all of California. Give Chapman Law Group a call, especially if you've got a personal injury situation. Do not settle with an insurance company before you give Chapman Law Group a call at 415-613-9483. I'm going to use them myself. There you go.
Eric, don't put me on the spot. Every Sunday, come on, you take him this week, Eric.
Oh, yeah, buddy. Signatures for Soldiers. Go check out Tim. He's got a great organization, helps out vets, both disabled vets and vets that are homeless. He does a great job. Sells memorabilia, and he gives it back to the community. Of course, you got Genesis Gold, where you want to get all your gold. Boy, gold's going up, by the way. BetterCreditCards.com. Go get your credit card now.
Who?
Do it. Do credit better creditcards.com. Look at that. Duxwell Printing, all your printing needs in the Bay Area. And don't forget about, if you love your sports memorabilia, go check out Lefty's Burlingame.
I think Tim gets it there, then gets it signed, and then they use it to auction.
Yeah,
that's what it is. That's what
it's
it
awesome. It's awesome.
I didn't know if we were going to win today, guys.
Woo! It got a little bit weird.
Hello, Orange Man. And
look good.
Yeah, it looked like the cold corner late there at which resides players like Yaz, Adames, Chapman, Hicks, and the rest. Yeah, we're going to get into this, guys. This, hey, first of all, great win today. Luis Matos gets a chance to play. What did he play? 1 or 2 games all week?
Something like that. Something like that.
Ridiculous. I mean, what are the Giants thinking? They got a 34-year-old guy that hits the. You know what? I'm just going to pull up his numbers for the last 3-4 seasons since 22. How about if we look up old Mikey Skrimsky and see what this guy, we know what this guy is. He's 34 years old. He should be a defensive late inning replacement like Jung-Hoo Lee was today in center field for Matos.
Yes.
But let's just take a look right here at Mikey Skrimsky, and you're getting more of the same this year. He started out nice, but look at this. Okay.
He's fallen.
Average, batting average. Now that's in descending order, 20, 19, and 25. Okay, so everything 23, 24, 21, 20. Look at it. This guy's a 230-ish hitter, okay? Are we going to play a 34-year-old guy over a kid who's like, how old is Matos? 23, 24 years
23,
old?
24, something like that.
Of course we are. Jesus.
And we're just going to keep playing this guy Yaz that is and stunt the development. Not only are we not playing Matos regularly, he's not getting any development because he's just like sitting on a bench. Give the guy, what drives me nuts. A year ago, he wins Player of the week.
Player of the week.
He drove like in 17, 18 runs in 1 week. Had an incredible week, and then he goes in a slump for 10 days, and they send him down.
Well, you know what they did before that, Dan? When he got Player of the Week, they threw him up to the freaking leadoff.
Mm-hmm.
And then he scuffled at the leadoff, and then they sent him down. Yeah.
Sent him down. And then yet we could have guys like Yaz and Adames and Chapman have slumps all year, and that's okay. No, we're not going to send these guys down because we're paying them too much. I'm just tired of the short-sightedness because I don't think the Giants are going to win anything this year. Okay. So why are you not getting these guys ready to be better and incrementally better so that when next year rolls around, Matos and Schmidt have had over 400 plus at bats and we saw what Ramos did last year when he got a ton of at bats, and he's repeating it this year.
Yes, he is. But even better. Arguably even better.
Yeah.
And you know what, Dan? It was a year ago. Thursday night, you did my favorite show. You guys remember, Eric, you know it. I believe you were a special guest. You did the it was like going to court.
With
court was in session. And you were talking about Matos. You were talking about Luciano. Remember the whole Luciano thing? And here we are a year later, and nothing really has changed, has it?
Cole, I'm going to disagree with you.
Yeah.
Adames and Chapman have proved themselves. They've had good production, but Matos has not gotten any more than a 2-week run in his career.
If that. Has he even had a 2-week run? Has he even had that? Every day for 2 weeks? I don't think he has.
Yeah,
you can't gain momentum if you don't play, man.
Yeah, I mean, Cole, I don't know if you've ever played baseball, but it's not easy to go out there and swing a bat, once or twice a week, and while everybody else is getting playing time. Players can produce off the bench. Sure, Robert. Yaz can produce off the bench. I agree. Look, he wasn't player of the month last year. He was player of the week. He didn't get a player of the month.
No. That was Fitzgerald. He got player of the month.
Yeah. Fitzgerald got player of the month. Yeah. So, look, am I saying that Matos is going to be a star? No. Am I saying Schmidt's going to be a star? No. We don't know. They might not. They could be flash in the pan, not make it. Okay? They could be like they don't have what it takes. But you don't know that when you play them here and there.
Sporadically, right. And that's the whole point I'm saying is give them a run so you see what you – because next year you don't know whether or not Matos is going to be a right fielder. Do you go out and upgrade it? Maybe he's going to be great. We don't know. Then you don't have to spend that money on a free agent in right field. But at least play him just to see what you got, and then you can move on. Oh, okay. This guy could have something, or we move on for him. Same thing with Schmidt. I don't understand it because, again, Yaz is not the future.
Well, look who's blocking him. It's not like we got Babe Ruth and Barry Bonds blocking these guys. Right. We got Lamont Wade Jr. and Mike Yastrzemski blocking them. That's my point.
Yes, correct.
If you had just, somebody that was producing, we wouldn't be talking about this. We're talking about it because they're playing two guys in front of them that are not part of the future. Neither one, I guarantee, will be on the team next year.
No.
Again, we're still talking about it this year. Last September, you had a month. Yeah. You had a month, Eric. How many times we teed it up last August on our show, Eric? September was the month. Play the young guys. You're out. You're done. And what did they do? Screwed around because remember they went on a little run and then they got rid of that option of playing the young guy. We won 6. We won what? I think we won 5 actually. And then they abandoned that and they had their chance in September when they were out. Play the young guys, and again here we are a year later. Nothing changes with this team.
To address this comment because to me, starting Wade and Yaz. Not just 500 baseball, it's settling for mediocrity. It's settling for we know what these guys are. Do we think Yaz is going to all of a sudden become a 280 hitter and, hit 30 homers and drive in 97 runs? It's not happening. Go ahead, Lou. You haven't seen anything.
if you guys remember, this was Buster's second and third signings after Chapman. He signed 3 guys, Wade, Yaz. I'm trying to think who the third was. Matos for 1 year. They're all 1-year contracts.
Matos. No, not Matos.
Not Matos. Flores.
Berlin?
Sorry.
Flores.
I think it was Flores.
No, right. Flores was already
signed. No, Flores. No, he didn't. No, he's been on.
Who we missed?
You're talking about the guys that were tendered. It was Yaz and Wade. And Rogers was I think
Taylor was let go, but no, he was on a.
No, he was under contract. He was under contract. It was the 3 or 4 guys that were arbitration eligible. I can't remember who they were.
Who was the other arb guy?
I think the big problem with the Giants,
he's probably gone. That's why, Eric.
I know.
It's really not Farhan's fault. It's the whole organization. This
That's
team
fair.
is, and it doesn't matter if Buster's in charge. These guys, they just want to get by. And this is why we'll never be as good as the Dodgers. We're never going to be like the Padres that are hungry because, as Dan said, we're happy to be a 500 team. You know, this is what when I listen to us and other people, we do it with our pitching staff. Okay. We did it with Hicks. Hicks couldn't do the job. We moved him up. We had somebody that was Kyle Harrison. We said, you know what? We're going to give you an opportunity. Let's bring him up. It's been successful. For some reason, we don't do it with our bats. And that's the problem with the Giants. When it's pitching, if somebody doesn't do anything, go to our bullpen. Our stopper can't succeed. Okay, he's out. Let's put Duvall in. But when it comes to our offense, for some reason, it's still a big part of the game. We don't do it. If you guys notice, the other night somebody wrote Yaz in May, okay, because now it's June, was like 3 for 35. 3 for 35. If you notice what his average is now, he's down to 239. It just seemed like just a while back he was batting 307, 295, 275. He's now batting below 240. Okay, you still have the problem with thank God they did get Matos. But here's the problem with the Giants. We got the Padres coming in. Is Matos going to play tomorrow? It used to be with Bochy, if you hit a homer, you were always assured to play the next day. But with Melvin in charge in this organization, here it is. Without Matos, we would have been beat today. The guy had a great game.
Who's San Diego throwing tomorrow?
And who knows he's going to be playing tomorrow.
Some guy named weird name. I can't remember.
Oh, I think it's a rookie they're bringing up, right? Yeah.
I think I've
San
seen this
Diego?
guy. Yeah, I've seen this guy before.
No, they're going with Kolek. Or how do you say his name?
Yeah.
Is it Kolek? Okay.
Kolek, yeah.
So, and I looked it up. I thought Yastrzemski was the other guy. I was sure it was Yastrzemski, but I just looked it up online. And on January 9th, the 3 arbitration guys were Duvall, Wade, and Tyler.
Oh, Duvall.
Yeah, Rogers.
All right.
Yep.
So, there you go. I'm just
Yaz.
Yaz was in there, though. No, Yaz was in there.
Yeah, I thought he signed a 1-year deal. But whatever.
He was part of the arbitration deal, and they signed.
Yeah, he's
the Giants. Eric, Dan, and Glenn, the Giants got to stop falling in love with these players. You got to start thinking about a business. Okay, I don't care that First of all, you got to remember, Yaz got released. He was a crumb that Farhan got. For some reason, we treat him like he's a 300 hitter, and he's been successful. And we've gone to the playoffs, and we almost got a ring with him. Sorry,
he had a good 2019 because it was a shortened year.
Yeah,
or 2020. I mean, 2020. And it was a 60 games, and he was.
And there's other reasons why we get MVP. These guys for nothing, and then we fall in love with them. We got to stop doing this. We have to do what's best. Right now we have a surplus of pitchers. We all know that. Verlander's going to come back. We have too many pitchers. Well, what do? It's a great thing to have. We have too many. We got to make a trade. We got to get a bat. If you're not going to play the young guys and give them a chance, then you got to get a bat. We're going to have to give something up good. It's just getting to the point now where these guys, it's been the same for 2 years. We can't hit in the clutch. And today's game, I felt like, Glenn, we sort of got lucky. It seemed like the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, they had 2 guys on. Just Miami, with a losing record, couldn't get the big hit. But when you go against a good team over 500, they're going to get the hit one of the innings, and then we're going to wind up losing. But
and the way Birdsong was pitching, I texted Eric. I said, "Didn't I?" I said, "Bird, he's great today."
Yeah.
Where do they go to the bullpen?
Yeah.
I had a bad feeling.
Well, the thing is the bullpen isn't bad. The problem I'm having is Eric Miller has been his last few outings. I don't have faith in Eric Miller. He either gives up a hit or he gives up a walk or multiple hits or multiple walks.
But now it's a few of them, a little bit of inconsistency.
Now Hicks, I expected him to be a little better. And what's he coming? He walks 3 guys? Didn't he walk 3 guys? I think he walked 3 guys. He got one out.
Mr. Useless walked 2 guys, almost hit another guy. He's completely useless. Trade him to somebody.
Trade him for what? Who wants to? Who wants him?
Then DFA him. We got the money. He's just in the way. If we're not going to use him, and we don't want to use him because he's very ineffective, get rid of him.
They're cheap.
You know what I would do?
Still talking about JD
right
Davis.
now,
They screwed him over what, about $50,000?
they have a lot of options this team could do.
There
Robbie
is
Ray is about as hot as you can get. And
Lefty.
you could trade Robbie Ray right now and throw in Yaz and say, we'll pay half of the salary of Ray. That's $25 million. So next year we'll pay $12.5 million because the Giants have the money. We want your top prospect. We want a top prospect, and then bring up Wisenhunt, because you know what? You got to find some hitters some way. You got to get creative. We don't need just, guys that are average hit. We don't need
Fillers.
a few more
So we have
Fitzgeralds or we need a really solid hitter, somebody that you can get behind and go, wow,
It doesn't look like a lot of teams, Dan. A lot. I told Eric on the show last night. I've been watching for no other reason than it's exciting. I watch a lot of Tampa Bay games lately. They've developed young players, and it's their time. They're coming. The fans got into it. It's exciting. You throw out names that you've been throwing, especially guys like Yaz. Isn't it stale? It's grown stale. And I don't know where the excitement is.
I don't know what this he says Ray for a prospect is a stupid take. What happens if you got a guy like Jack Caglione in there? All of a sudden.
Matter of fact, he just got called up.
I know, he just got called up. The guy's a stud.
Have you seen the way that guy's built? He's built like a damn linebacker, dude.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You give me in fact, I would trade Webb right now if you gave me Jack Caglione.
Attaboy.
I could build around this dude, and then I got Eldridge, and I got some doggone boppers to get excited about at Oracle Park. Then I changed the dimensions, and I got 240-plus homer guys walking around. I got, the what they call that, the Pacific Sock Exchange.
Mitchell and Bonds.
Mitchell.
Yeah. That's what the Giants need to become. They need to stop. Look, go find some hitters. If you can't develop them, go steal somebody else's. Okay, because they're not going to come here in free agency with the way the dimensions of this stadium is. It's just not going to happen. They'll never change it because they don't think forward. But you want exciting baseball? Who likes to watch 1-2-1 games, 1-0 games? I mean, chicks love the long ball, they say, right? I would love to see balls flying out of Oracle Park all the time, man. You know what? We still have great pitching. Pitching will do well, but come on, man. You can make Eldridge into a top candidate for MVP if he's going to get so many balls. I mean, he'll still hit him over the 415 when he gets here, but he's going to hit a lot of balls that are going to go 400, 410, and they're going to be in outs in guys' gloves, and just like Brandon Belt. And that's just disgusting to hit a ball 412 and be an out.
I call it stale. I don't know. Eric and I were doing the show. I was back for my first show last night. I spent time with my dad. He watched I spent the afternoon with him. We watched a couple of the Detroit Tiger Giant games this week. And what did I say? He came up. My dad comes up with them. What did he come up with, Eric? What kind of team do we got?
Woeful.
He goes, this is woeful, son. This is woeful. And I liked it. I said, that's exactly what we are. Woeful. How many times, guys, do I have to watch a ball game where we get a couple of guys on? You get me? You know what? It's like the girls I used to try to date in high school. They tease you, man. They tease you. You get a couple on, and what happens? What you were talking about? Was it yesterday's game, Eric? You get a couple on, strikeout. You asked me, what did he do? I said, strikeout? Yep. Strikeout. Yep. And that's the inning.
Yeah, that was the inning. Yeah.
Hey, Glenn, you forgot something. Giants baseball. Nothing like it.
You got to get that in
baseball. It's woeful. I don't know, guys.
I mean,
are they going to have the balls to make the move?
Well, we're going to soon find out.
Because the way we didn't get into it, and maybe you did on your show, Dan, I only read online, and it's not fair for me to really give a comment, but I heard that Buster was on KMBR. He was throwing around the word super. Adames is a superstar.
William, that's a wrong category to call a guy like that. He's not a superstar. He's
that's ridiculous, is what it is.
A superstar
as a person, right?
Yeah, you paid him. You paid him like a superstar, so you better call him a superstar. But he ain't no superstar.
Yeah, but do you realize he's getting $1 million? I said last night he's getting $1 million a point. His batting average, you got $1 million a point.
Yeah.
I'm not so much worried about Adames' batting average at this point. He's going to eventually bounce back. What I'm really more concerned about when I look at Adames is you got this guy for 6 more years after this year. He's not going to be a shortstop through the whole contract. He's probably got 2, maybe 3 good years after this available. But the last 3 years, he's going to have to move to second. I would, the Giants just need to start developing guys that can play short, and either that or trade for guys. They're not going to look. No free agent is going to come to Oracle that is a superstar. It's the middle guys like Adames, like Chapman. They get the money and they go, crap, you're going to pay me that much? Okay. They're not getting it anywhere else. Look, Chapman was with Toronto 2 years ago. Comes a free agent, and Toronto doesn't sign him. And nobody's signing him. And spring training started.
Should that tell you something? Should
tell you something. And what are
they were able to lure him. They were able to lure him. He likes to play for Bob Melvin.
Of course he does. And we knew he was coming. We said when it was our show on NorCal, we were saying, don't sign this guy. Don't. But we knew it was coming.
Right, Eric?
It was coming.
We said the same thing, Eric.
All of it was coming. So we said Chapman's coming.
But when he signed back in the beginning of
the first time he signed, we were like,
Eric
and I were like, no, please don't sign this guy. Don't do it. He's a great defensive third baseman, but he's not a productive hitter. Okay,
He's mid.
Yeah, he's mid, and you're paying him like he's the star of your team. Him and Adames, they're your anchors. Okay, and then you got Lee, the top 3 paid guys. So you got these guys, and then he's going to walk in free agency last September. He says, I'm going to walk. I'm going to take. And what do the Giants do? They chase after him.
Yeah. Was it a panic move?
And Scott Boras is like, no, we're testing the market. You're not giving it. Hey, we can get 4. That's not enough years. My guy wants to test. Well, how about if we make it 6? All right, we're close. You know what? We're not ready to sign yet. We want a no trade clause. This is like, and they know they got the Giant. You've been in business before where you got someone over the barrel. It's just like, okay, no trade clause. So he gets that. So now you got Matt Chapman here for 5 more years after this, $25 million a year, no trade. Look at the back of his card. He's never had more than 80 RBIs in a single season, but one time, 2019. That was 6 seasons ago.
He's going to regress.
And don't forget the year of the juice ball. That was the year of the juice ball.
Yeah, year of the juice ball, exactly. And he didn't even get 100 RBIs then. With 30-something like 7 homers, he still didn't drive in 100 runs.
I don't know how you do that.
How do you hit 37 home runs and not drive in 100 runs? I mean,
it's crazy.
Hey, Glenn.
Yes, sir.
This is what you missed when they interviewed Buster. And this is why I think Buster has no clue what he's doing. Okay? For Adames, you got to give him time when you sign a big contract. He's just like Turner and Lindor. They signed a big contract and they took a while. And I went like, are you out of your mind?
I'd rather have Trey Turner.
You're saying that, first of all, Turner's a stud. And Lindor for the Mets is a complete stud, MVP. Don't ever compare Adames, who you were dumb enough to pay all this money, compared to Lindor and Turner. We would
Come on,
have
Lou.
any one of those
Come
other
on,
ones.
come
It's
on, Lou.
ridiculous.
Lou,
Why
come
does
on.
he say something dumb like that?
He
And
didn't
Come on,
say
Lou.
that. Did he say that?
Come on, Lou. He's
Yeah.
a superstar, though. Lou, come on.
You know what? He was a great player, but like me and Dan have talked about, you can be a great player, but when you're an executive in the front office, you could be one of the worst. And people still give you 3, 4, 5 different, don't worry about it, he'll turn it around. I mean, come on, don't ever compare that. You know, it was just something dumb to say. And then you know what he says? Don't worry, we're working on first base.
Next year.
That's what they said on KMBR. I wrote KMBR because, you know, most of those guys are on the Giants payroll. I go, you know what? This is why no one listens to you guys. You guys are the commercial leader, and no one listens to KMBR because you guys are such homers. You know, it was, you didn't really miss anything. So that's what you missed on there. He was comparing Adames' slow start to superstars like Lindor and Turner. And he said, don't worry, we're working on first base. I mean, come on.
But our chat does the same thing, doesn't it, Eric?
Yeah.
The guy gets off to a slow start. I give him 4 months. Oh, he'll bounce back. And like, wait, you know what? We were saying, our guys in the chat were saying slow starts at the end of last month, Eric. We're into June.
Yeah.
We're into June, and everybody's going to be batting 200 in another 30 days by the looks of it. Eric said last night, these guys who couldn't hit and are showing us they can't hit, they ain't getting any better. But the guys who were batting 300,
we're starting to fall.
batting 230, 220.
The guys who were carrying the team, Flores, Lee, they were for the most part carrying the team. Ramos to an extent, and now, now that they've fallen off, the other guys haven't picked it up. That's the problem.
You go. Who carries the mail when they have a little bit of a downtime? Nobody.
That's the
they
problem.
are who
and
we thought they were.
I mean, and let's talk about this. I mean, is this who Adames is? He's had a 217 average in his season before, so it's not uncommon. This is not
right. It's not.
You like to say, look at the back of his baseball card. Well, do it. This is what he is.
That's just what I'm talking. And the problem is, look what he's doing. Did you hear? Larry talked about it on the Marty show. Did you hear what his batting average is against lefties? 136 or something like that. What? That doesn't. You're not bringing in the mail doing that, man. Now, what did they sign him for? What did they sign primarily? What did they sign him for? Probably not so much for the defense as much
driving in runs.
And yes, because what did he do last year? Oh, he had the most 3-run home runs in the league. What was it, 13 or something?
Yeah, he was in the right place at the right time.
Look at these RBIs totals. Yep. 91, 78, 76, 72, 68, 54, 40, and 26 so far this year.
Yeah, that's Chapman.
That's
Joe
Adonis.
Chapman. Yeah.
1 year of 91. You want to see a batting average? His highest batting average? 2018, 278.
A big drop, isn't it?
Yeah, one big year. Then it's never over 250. Hasn't been over 250 for how many years? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
But even these big signings, it's like the Giants, they settle for mediocrity and they're happy.
Agree.
And everybody looks, OPS plus is pretty good. I'll grant you that. He's a heck of a third baseman. He's a heck of a clubhouse guy. He's a solid player. I just don't think that you have to, when you make a guy like Matt Chapman the cornerstone of your offense, put him smack dab in the middle of your lineup, you would think a guy would be 100+ RBI guy. I mean, come on. You're coming up with runners in scoring position constantly, and you're not driving them in. And this is what is the problem. The guy does not have a swing path that is conducive to.
He's trying to lift the ball every time.
Yeah, it's just you got to look at every pitch that Matt Chapman hits. It's never really like outside, inside. It's grooved and it's like waist high. It's like right there.
But do you agree that with the roster, and I've said it since before training camp, with the roster they put together, this is an entire, other than, I keep saying, Eric likes Ramos up high. I think you put he's your banger. He should be a cleanup guy. But the rest of the team, they're not. What they're doing is they're dropping guys like Adames up there, Chapman up there. You know what? The whole team is 7, 8, 9 hitters, and you're trying to create something that they're not. It's a team of 7, 8, 9 hitters. Oh my God, he's batting cleanup. You got a 220 career hitter batting cleanup who's going to drive in about what? An average of 60 runs? That ain't getting it done.
Here's how I
make this. They're trying to create a ball player that he isn't.
I would make this lineup like
right,
this.
Lou?
Agreed.
I would do the lineup something like this. I would put Fitzgerald at first, lead him off, get some speed. If he gets on, let's start running. Today they ran and they got their first run in because they were aggressive. You got to do something different. I'd put Jung-Hoo Lee second. I'd put Heliot Ramos third. I would put Flores fourth as the DH because he's the only guy that seems to hit when guys are in scoring position. And I definitely would run when he's on so that you don't hit into a double. Get first base open when Flores is up because a ground ball is a rally killer.
If it's not going through, right. If it's not going through, forget about it.
But I bat him fourth. I would then go fifth. I would put Luis Matos in right field. And I would the guy hit well there last year. Give him a run. Sixth, who do you got? Six. You got Adames and Chapman left and Bailey. Who else is left? 6, 7, 8. First base. Okay. 6, I would put who did I have fifth? Yeah. I'd put Schmidt sixth. Yeah. I'd put Adames or maybe Chapman 7, 8 Adames, move him down for now, and 9 Bailey. And I would just say, look, you guys aren't producing.
A little more balanced, too.
Yeah. Show us what you got. If you guys are the leaders of this team, I don't think Chapman 8th is crazy. The guy doesn't hit at all, Cole. Doesn't hit in clutch situations. Get him out of the middle of the lineup where guys are on base in front of him. Let's take some pressure off of him. Put him down there.
Dan, answer this, and I want all three of you to answer this question for me. What is the identity of the team? They don't run.
Pitching.
They're not hitting home runs. It's pitching right now. But offensively, what kind of a team are they trying to build? I thought it was bangers. And then we started the year, we were running the bases. I said, this is the kind of baseball I want to watch. They got away from that. Why? Now I don't even know what the identity is. They're just up there hacking, and some guys are just swinging. And what did I call it? It was like a ballet lesson I was watching last week, Eric. They were swinging and doing pirouettes, and it was goddamn ugly. And what kind of ball team do they have? It's just mediocre ball. What do you think? Don't all speak at once.
I don't know. No,
I'll go.
Honestly,
I'll go. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Honestly, I don't know. Look, if you have one bad bat, right, a weak bat, if you want to say, you can hide them in the lineup somewhere. It's hard to hide around 4 bad bats. You just can't do it. You got to do the best you can. And look, there's guys out there that are getting paid a lot of money that need to step it up, man. They need to wake up. And I don't know when that's going to happen. Maybe Chapman is starting to wake up a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. He's a streaky hitter, so he tends to get hot for a little while, and then he goes back into the deep freeze. But check this out.
What do we got here? I see the guy in the middle is Adames.
Guy in the middle is Adames.
Flores, Adames.
Guy on the right is Chapman.
Guy on the right is Chapman.
That sounds
and the guy on the left,
Flores.
Is Wilmer Flores. Wilmer Flores is being paid $4 million. Willie Adames is being paid $26 million. Chapman is being paid $25 million. So who's earning their money right now?
Look at Chapman. How does that OPS plus over 1? How is his OPS constantly over 100, like above average when the eye test? I just don't.
You know why?
See it.
Because those hits come in at times that don't matter. No one's on base when he gets a double. Right. When there's good, that's the problem. When there's guys on base, this is not the numbers you see. That's the problem. If he's able to hit,
and he does walk, right? That affects.
He walks
OPS.
a lot.
Yeah.
Now, OPS plus, not so much.
So he's not
That's all
clutch.
on
He's
base.
not clutch.
He's not clutch.
Never has, never will be.
He's not clutch. The OPS plus means he hits a lot of doubles. How many doubles does he have?
Got to get excited. Nothing like it.
Was that yesterday or today? He tried to get a double and he got out.
Yesterday, and he got thrown out. Yeah.
And, you know, one thing I did want to bring up because I want to include the chat. Mike Go brings up a great thing. Giants have a team ERA of 2.20 over the last 10 games, ranking
That's
second.
huge. Yeah.
And our record is 4-6. Enough said.
Yeah. There you go. And that's the problem. Lou, it came out yesterday, the month of April, or I'm sorry, month of May. They went 13-14. They had the league best 2.6 ERA. And they were one game below 500, dude.
Well, it just tells you, you know, you got a great pitching team and you got a lousy, you put the two together, you mix them all together, you shake, what's that? You take the right hand in and take your left foot in. And you shake it all
the hokey pokey.
You know,
the hokey pokey.
The hokey pokey. That's what it's all about. Yeah. 500 baseball, man. That's just the freaking Giants, man, since 22. I'm so tired of, you know, look, the season started out pretty good. They were winning and they were coming from behind in some games and it was enjoyable, but they're reverting back to this team. And we saw this. It started in the 22 second half. They got in a slump. Kapler said they'll bounce out of it. I've seen them, you know, and they didn't. And then in 23, they just didn't. And in 24, they settle for this, you know, mediocrity with hitting. And I don't understand why people don't like. I mean, what is Pat Burrell doing as a hitting instructor? What's going on here? I mean, if your whole team can't hit, you think it might be a little bit the hitting coach?
The approach.
They did it with Carney Langsford. They did it with what was the other guy's name? Not Hunter, whatever. Yeah. I mean, you got to blame somebody because this year the team is worse in all offensive categories. Yeah.
And three of us on this show follow the fantasy almost daily. Eric, Dan, myself. And what's really cool about that is when you pop in every day and you look at the fantasy stats, you get a good judge of who the quality players are. The guys are putting 10 points every day and 8 points. And you get the guys who are minus. Nobody on the Giants is getting you points. So if you're Robbie Dizzle and you've got 8 guys from the Giants and you're in last place, there's a reason. There's a reason. Minus, zero, minus. The studs get points. And when you look at the fantasy lineup of the Giants, they don't produce. And like Eric said, it's great. Oh, he got 2 points. He had 2 doubles. There was nobody on. No run scored.
Hey,
or you get 2 runners on and they strike out.
And no one hit him. And
that comment about the Giants, nobody in the other fantasy league I'm in has any Giants players except Ramos. And I think Lee got picked up. I had him for a while, then I dropped him and he got super hot. And then now somebody else has him and hasn't been doing much. But those are the only 2 hitters, Ramos and Lee. Nobody has anybody.
Somebody traded Lee in our league, didn't they?
I traded him.
That you? You traded him. He said, I'm getting him out of here. Good move.
And I got Chapman like an idiot.
And I traded him too.
In this other league, I drafted Chapman because I thought there was a corner infielder beside. I already had Machado, and it's like, oh, I need a corner infielder. He's the highest ranked. What the heck? Well, I didn't read the rules good enough. There's no corner infielder in this league. It's just there's no middle infielder, so it's just straight positions. So Chapman sits on my bench. I can't trade him. Nobody wants him. It's like I've tried to give him away. Hey, look, you know what? I'll give you Matt Chapman for a player to be named later in the year 2125. Yeah. And they say, no, it's 100 years from now, Dan. That's not a good deal for me. I don't want Chapman that bad.
Yeah, but when you play the fantasy and you look at those points every day, you get to see what a guy's production value is because you see the points they got yesterday and the day before, and the Giants just don't cut it. And it's not to say a guy can't have a good day. You can have a day when Willie Adames, Ramos, or somebody steps up and they, a couple of home runs, good day. And then look at Wilmer. I love Wilmer like nobody else. But it's no good when the guy hits 3 home runs and then we don't hear from him for 17 days.
Yep. Hey, Chardall's going to the game Tuesday with his friend. All right.
Oh, geez. I thought we had our fill last night.
Who are you going with? Which friend? Your little friend, or just who's going with you, Chardall?
His friend. His one friend.
All right.
He wants me to spend a day with him at the park. I don't know how I got voted into that, but luckily I'm not in the country, Chardall.
Have a good time. San Diego Padres, Tuesday night.
Bernice says if I go and spend the day with him, I'm going to get stuck on the top of the Ferris wheel, and it's going to mysteriously break down. I'm up there for 4 hours on the top of the thing with him. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm sure he can talk some ball, right? He can sing. He'll sing me a few ditties.
There you go. Well, speaking about the hitting coaches, what's his name from Texas? Donnie Ecker. He got the boot.
Because Texas wasn't hitting.
They weren't hitting.
Don't put up with it.
But guess what? Right. Texas still isn't hitting. They won today, but they still weren't hitting. Sometimes, and yes, to a certain extent, sometimes you got to blame the coach. But these guys are getting paid millions of dollars. How much is a coach getting paid? Coach ain't getting paid very much, right?
Coach is always the guy who goes.
You think Pat Burrell's getting paid $1 million? I guarantee you he ain't. Nope. I guarantee you he ain't. So to a certain extent, I'm always careful in going after the coaches because the players got to produce. But to an extent, like you were saying, Dan, when it's the whole team, then maybe there's something bigger at hand that you got to start looking at. And unfortunately, that they're going to be the scapegoat. And you think they're going to blame the manager or the players? No, they're going to blame the coach.
They almost lost that game today because they couldn't even add on at the late innings.
They couldn't.
They got the 4 runs. They had opportunities. They couldn't add on. And that's, you know what? They were playing the Marlins. A good team would have been able to probably come back and beat them.
But call a spade a spade. They won the game with 1 swing of the bat the entire game. They got 3 on the home run.
True.
So it's 1 swing the whole game that really produced any runs.
And I think they were 1 for, what were they? 1 for 6 runners in scoring position? 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, they average about 2 for 12, 2 for 13. So you're right on that.
And that's because there was a guy on second base when Matos hit his home run.
And the only blessing today was we beat a lefty.
Yeah, and something happened in that inning that extended the inning, if I remember right. Schmidt.
There was no errors.
No.
I think it was Schmidt walked. Let me go. What was that? The 3rd inning or something?
Let me look at where is it?
I got it right here.
4th inning.
While you're doing that,
okay, 4th inning.
Talk about mediocrity. Eric and I were talking to the show. Well, actually, it popped right off the screen at me. So they won yesterday, guys. Right, Eric? You brought up the stats last night. The Miami. And Miami wins yesterday. 1-0 game. They got 1 run on 3 hits and an error. And if you looked at that stat line, you'd think it was a 7-1 game. But the Giants couldn't do any better. That's the problem. They're so mediocre. And dude, I've been saying it since the start of the season, and there was a good start, and everybody was riled up, and I said, 79-win team. Oh my God, they won 18. They won 7 in a row. I go, 79-win team. They'll soon be at 500 baseball club.
You might be right. It's
you wait till August. If it's like this now, wait till the dog days.
We'll see how it goes. They've got to get some bats. It's just hard baseball to watch. Like Alive says, the offense is unwatchable. It really is. It's unwatchable. And this is why, I say this, and I don't think the Giants are smart enough to do it. So I don't think anybody out there in the media in the Bay Area is mentioning it. Nobody's talking about it, and it'll never happen. But I'll say it anyway. I would change the dimensions of the ballpark. You're the 5th largest market in baseball. You have no competition in the entire region. You own the entire Northern California. you could go out, shorten the fences, make it a hitter's park. You've got more money. You're only committed to 6 contracts next year for combined $122 million. You've got over $120 million before you even reach the luxury tax. You could go out and sign Kyle Tucker and say, you know what? Part of the pitch is, here's our new dimensions. You know, you can do it quietly. And if you don't get them, you don't do it, I guess. But if you want to try and get a superstar, Tucker, who's like 27, and you have a porch that kind of looks like Citizens Bank ballpark, it's now a hitter's friendly park where it only takes 365 to hit it anywhere out in right center instead of 400 to 415. And it's 365. You bring in left field a little bit, it's 365. You keep center field at 399. And then you got Bryce Eldridge coming up next year, and you have Kyle Tucker. All of a sudden, you are being talked about on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball because you got 2 big boppers that are both on a course of 40-plus homers, and you become a destination. It's a beautiful
momentum.
ballpark.
You entice players to come.
Yeah, you entice it. It's all about creating something different, you know, and you become a destination place because, look, hey, guess what? You can go to San Francisco. It's not too hot in the summer. You can enjoy the cool weather, but you can still hit dingers, man. You're not going to get robbed of home runs because it's a hitter's park now, and it's entertaining. And people actually might want to start showing up because there's entertainment. You know, people show up to the frickin' Chase Arena to watch women's basketball. Okay?
Another sellout. Bernice was there. Another sellout tonight.
All right. I guess they think it's entertaining. Whatever it is for certain people, fine. You know what? If people like the product, they're going to show up. But they don't do anything to think outside the box. They say, oh, we can't mess with our park. It's too beautiful. Well, you've already changed it a couple of times. You moved the bullpens out. So now move the fences in. And you know what? If you move all the fences in right center, you can put 1,500 to 2,000 more seats. That's called revenue.
And then if they moved the fences in.
I think
when they did the bullpen, they moved the fences in from center field.
Yeah.
Actually,
and you can leave the bullpens, but you can all that stuff in right field, and then it's not going to, the wall will still be there, the brick wall. You'll still be able to see it. It just won't be part of the home run ball. There'll be a shorter 7-foot fence in front of it. You see ballparks do this all the time, change their dimensions, and you know,
Baltimore did that just recently.
Look at Houston's the Crawford boxes. I mean, you see balls go hit, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's an easy fly ball at Oracle. No, it's a home run. How would you love to see instead of you go to the ballpark instead of 1-0, 2-1, 3-2? How about some 8-7 ball games, 8-5? Some offense. I mean,
you got to be able to hit the ball.
I don't know.
I think you can move the fence into the infield, but if you can't hit the ball,
yeah. I think you can go out and get the right type of players. I think it becomes a destination place for star players. Dan, will Giants offer Tucker $400 million plus? Johnny said you could go out and get him easy. You know what? You can be the highest bidder. You really could. You could be the highest bidder, but I guarantee you could be the highest bidder over the Dodgers. Any other team with the dimensions the way they are now, nobody's coming. Nobody. Right. There's nobody coming.
Oh, go ahead. Quick update. Just saw the square. Number 62, Joshua. Thank you, sir, for donating $20 to buy a square. Might as well get that out of the way. Lou, you want to talk about the new things that are coming as far as this fundraiser?
Lou's been busy, hasn't he? Lou's been doing sales. Good stuff.
Yeah, so me and Dan spoke about it, but now there's 2 beside the seats, beside batting practice, beside going enjoying yourself on a Friday night game that you get to choose. We now have 2 dinners. One dinner is compliments of Tony G, Tony's Pizza and Capos, a $50 gift certificate. And then last night I went to Tommy's Mexican on 24th and Gary, And I asked Julio, the owner, and I said, hey, Tony's helping. He goes, what's he doing? And he said he's giving us a $50 gift certificate. He goes, fine, I'm going to do the same, but I'm also going to do a gift certificate for a picture of margaritas, just so I can be better than Tony. So now we have two different options. So, for $20 for a chance, it's good. Now, listen, the great thing too is you're doing $20 where you don't need to use the dinners before the game. You're just going to have a gift certificate. So if you win, you're going to get $100 worth of food, a free pitcher of margaritas, and 4 tickets to a ball game. I mean,
nice.
It's sort of a no-brainer.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, just fill up those squares, and these 4 grifters right here will take the winning seats, and we'll all go. No, just
I told Eric last night, if we win, I got to go for the margaritas after the game, or I ain't going to the game. Not a little problem.
Hey, let's play this promo and
play the promo. Yeah,
here we go.
Giant Sports Talk Live and the NorCal Sports Network have teamed up to give back to the community. We ask for your support as we aid in Haley Busby's fight for life in her battle with liver cancer. To take part in this fundraiser, you can purchase an entry for just $20, and the winner receives 4 front row dugout seats at Oracle Park for your choice of an August 8th game versus the Washington Nationals, or the August 29th game when the Giants host the Baltimore Orioles. The winner will also get an on-field experience on game day and attend batting practice. So secure your entry now, as eligibility is limited. Draw date to be determined. The Busby family, Giant Sports Talk Live, and the NorCal Sports Network thank you for your participation and contribution to this worthwhile event, covering the San Francisco Giants and giving back to those in need in 2025. Giant Sports Talk Live and the NorCal Sports Network.
Thank you, Eric. That looks pretty cool with the new logos.
Yeah, there we go, man. We got Tommy's
Give him a free
Pizza,
plug
or
since,
Tommy's Mexican, and also Capo's. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
Eric, you said on the show last night, Father's Day, a couple of weeks away.
Father's Day, yeah.
Square.
Yeah, exactly. And buy a square for Pops, man. You never know, man. You might
and if you sell a square, any of you guys, any of you clowns in here with me, or anybody in the chat, God's sake, don't do what I did. I'm in the Toronto airport. I'm selling squares to every Tom, Dick, and Harry I can sell one to. So what was his name? Eisner.
Mike Eisner,
something like that. Eisner bought one. Told him what we were doing. He says, well, I can't go. But, good salesman. I talked him into buying. I said, it's all about the charity. Mike or Mark or whatever your name is. So he entered. I don't know how to find him if he wins.
Hey, we'll just...
I have no phone number. I don't have an address. I don't even know his first name. So, oops. So we'll figure out what to do with Eisner's winnings we may have to raffle it off.
Hey, it's all good.
Which wouldn't be bad either, guys. The more the merrier. Yeah.
But yeah, guys, again, if you buy a square, again, maximum 5. Yes, you're going to get some great seats. You get to go on the field for batting practice. Your name gets on the scoreboard. You're getting free food. But more importantly, you're helping a great cause. You're helping this young lady, kind of stay financially in this fight because it's expensive. She's got to go down to Arizona for her treatment. And then, of course, you got your the everyday cost. So anything we could do to help, that would be
Eric
great.
And I were excited about winning, Dan. We'll leave it. I hope you win, Dan, because if we win and they put our name on the scoreboard, the whole crowd might go, boo. One and Eric from Giant Sports Talk. And I'll go, Eric, they're booing us. Well, they got to put Dan's big mug you got to put his mug up there on the center field scoreboard. This is Dan from NorCal. And the crowd will erupt in cheers.
Logan Webb might come tackle me.
Oh, man. I'm going to get a shirt made with an arrow. This is Dan Coach Emilio.
Yeah, who let him in here?
Oh,
it's all fun. It's all in fun, boys.
Oh yeah, it is. It's all in fun. And hey, whoever wins,
But the cause is fun.
And then
so let's fill up the squares soon. I want to do the draw. Let's do the draw. Can we do the draw tonight?
Not yet. But look, this is where we're at. This is the current list.
Bring 'em up,
right
Eric.
here. There we are. We're just over 50. So there we go. As you can see, Joshua just picked up number 62. Los got 67 yesterday, right, Dan? If I'm not mistaken. So this
right next
is
to number 66. That's Lumpy Los.
And if anybody knows who's got square 31, just let us know, please.
Exactly. So they're filling up, guys, which is awesome. And again, you get a choice of 2 games, which is awesome. That's even better because you could choose which one works out best for your schedule.
Yep.
I said, would you? I said, Eisner, would you mind taking number 31? He goes, is that a good number? I said, that's the best number in the ball club. Figure we were going to have problems moving it, so another sales tactic.
Isn't 31 Lamont Wade?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I said,
I
got to get you number
Lamont.
31.
Late not Lamont. Someone said that in the chat yesterday. That was pretty good. Late not Lamont.
Poor Lamont.
I know. Hey, I mean,
hey guys, speaking of Lamont, with possible movement either tonight or tomorrow before the ball game.
Ooh, is there any? That's a great question. Probably tomorrow.
If we bring up our DH from AAA who's been hitting the ball.
Christian Koss is going down.
I think it's Koss. Yeah.
You got Schmidt that could play those positions. You know.
That's true. You're kind of redundant in that position. That makes it, to be honest with you, it makes sense. Especially the way Matos played today, because, I mean, he just has to get a run.
Guys, you know it's a true baseball show, Eric. Look at Dan over there. Dan's got the Cracker Jacks going.
The popcorn. That's popcorn.
You didn't have to show. I was setting you up for a... Cracker Jacks. I said to Eric, I don't know if you guys agree. I said to Eric, we were talking about it last night. We got Atlanta coming up, not for 3. We got them for 4. No, we got Atlanta for 3.
Padres for 4.
Padres for 4. So I said, let's just see.
All the way to July 13th.
I'm going to tell you something right now.
Brand new month. Let's start fresh. But if they are just sub 500 after this, and it could easily be, then I'm getting a little concerned.
And let's talk about this next 4 series. 4 San Diego, 3 with freaking Atlanta. Then you got to go to Colorado, which is not easy. And then you got to go to LA.
Colorado better be easy. They've won 9 games and lost 50. The third fastest team.
These are the Giants.
Yeah, but they won 9. Didn't they beat us?
They did beat us in the first.
We're one of those 9.
We're one of those 9. So it's not going to be easy, and it's going to be challenging. Let's see what this team does. Again, you're going up. Look, 3 of the series are in your own division. San Diego,
and against good
and
offensive teams where we need that. We need offense, or we're not going to win.
Yeah, but Lou, we're not hitting the ball, and Eric is all about the pitching. He says, God, we're getting the pitching. You're asking the pitching. They can't have a subpar day at all. If the pitching don't show up, it's over early.
They need to pitch shutouts, or they literally go out there. And this reminds me of I think it was 2011 when between the 2 World Series, Zito said, hey, everyone felt like we need to pitch a shutout because the Giants offense was pathetic. Mm-hmm. And, that's how these pitchers are. I mean, you can only ask them to do so much. And you got to remember, it only takes one bad start, and these guys. I mean, look at Webb right now. He's not reliable. 2 of his last 3, he's been getting pounded. So, it sort of hurts your reputation. The young guys are doing fine, but you're going to have, they I don't know what they're going to do because, hey, at least they tried to hit on the road, but we know they don't hit at home. They got to start hitting at Oracle Park.
This is gonna.
Let's.
I think next week Lou will be Mr. Salty. I'm going to be Mr. Lightly Salted because he and I are reading from the same chapter, the same book. Man, everything is
reading from the same sheet of music. Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened to that?
And I totally agree with Lou that they fall in. And I've said it before, Eric. They fall in love with the players. This is just it's stagnant on the field because it's stagnant up in the office. They're the fear factor. It should be a new reality show. Fear Factor Giants. We're afraid to make a trade.
I tell you what.
Does Buster have a sack? Is he going to pull a move? I don't care if they're friends of his. You got it. It's all business. You know, he's got to realize, and the fans are only going to take so long.
All right, guys, let's do a little exercise here. See who's the closest. We all got a gimme here. We got our mulligan today. We know the Giants have won one game in June. What do we got for the rest of June here? Predict the record.
Look at that line.
I'm going to go. Should I go first?
Let's go series by series. How about let's go series by series.
Okay. San Diego series here. I think they're fortunate if they get a split.
I think I'm going to say they get a split. They're catching San Diego at the right time.
Yeah, I think they'll get a split.
What say you, Glenn?
Hold on. I'm adding up the game. How many games are we playing this month?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Here, that's why I was just going to add them up.
7, 13,
16, 19, 22, 25, 26 more.
I say we win 13. I think we'll have some, we split here. We win a series here. I think we're good.
That's why I'm going to go by series.
500 baseball. Around 500 ball. 13 wins.
They'll be 12 and 15 at the end of the month.
There you go. I'll go with Lou. They'll keep
27 total. 27 total. Okay. I'm going to say they're going to lose. Let's see. They're going to go 3 and 4 here. I'll win 3.
And what say you, Chad?
5.
Oh, come on. Hold on. Let me see. I don't know, man.
7. 8. 10.
Jay Farrell says not a bad schedule for the month. I think that could be a testy little schedule.
I think they win 13 more. They got 26 left. Yeah, it looks like 13 and 13. So they'd be 14 and 13 for the month. Here's how I got it breaking down. I got them splitting against San Diego. I got them losing 2 of 3 to Atlanta. I got them winning 2 of 3 in Colorado. Somehow Colorado gets 1. I have them getting swept in LA. I have them winning. I don't know how the Cleveland-Boston series goes all 6 games, but I see a split 3 and 3. I think they win 2 of 3 against Miami. I think they win 2 of 3 against the White Sox. And the last game in Arizona, who knows? Oh, they're coming off the road from White Sox. They'll probably lose that game.
You had me till Dodgers, Cleveland, Boston. I think they win 3 of 9. And that's
I'm going to say that. I'm going to say they go 14 and 12. I'm going to be a little bit optimistic. 14.
I had them 14 and 13. It's 27 total.
Is it 27?
Counting Miami. So you got.
See, I'm just doing the last. Okay, yeah, I got you. I didn't count Miami.
Oh, so you got them going
for the rest
14,
of the way up.
14. I got them 13 and 13.
So regardless of how you split it, any of us, this is a 500 team.
Yes, it is. It's
500 baseball.
Team. Yeah.
You win 1 or you lose 1, it's 500.
But if that's the case, you know what they'll probably finish? They're going to finish. If they go 500 the rest of the way out, I think they finish close to 90 wins.
No, yeah, but I still say you're going to have. You're still.
No, if they go 500 the rest of the way out, they're only 7 over 500.
Look at July. Arizona, Philly, Dodgers.
Yeah. And what would they be then? 80, 88, 89?
85 and 77. They'd be 84 and 78 roughly.
Oh shit! Look at that.
79 win team. I think as a good look at that. Look at July. Arizona, Philly, Dodgers.
July and August they'll have losing records. They better win in June. Look how tough their record is in July and August.
Sliding.
I mean, you play Philly and the Dodgers, then you have an All-Star break, and then you go to Toronto and Atlanta, and then you come home for the Mets.
That's tough. The easiest one out of that whole thing is going to be the A's.
Oh, I thought
to be honest with you, honestly, that may not be because the ball absolutely flies in Sacramento.
Yeah, and the A's have better hitters.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
I would take the A's lineup. If you could somehow make a trade with the A's with guys like Rooker or something like that and give up, a reliever or 2, to the A's. The A's have just horrible bullpen. Just an
their
awful
bullpen is
Yep, Philip, we all heard that about Corbin Burns earlier.
Yeah, what a shame, man.
He
must have heard it pop. It pop.
Giants dodged a bullet there.
They did.
I mean, you know what?
Oh,
I'm not signing any 30. That's a sign to me. Same thing happened with Garrett Cole, right? He's been out.
Yes.
I'm not signing no 30-year-old pitcher to a 5-6 year contract. The Giants were smart letting Blake Snell just walk. You know what?
He's got problems.
I'll give Buster credit because you're building around these young pitchers, and you're not strapped for heavy contracts. If Webb went down, it would be tough, blow to the team, but it's not a major contract like some of these other guys got. Burns is getting $210 million. If he has to have Tommy John, he won't probably be available to come back till next September, August, September, if that. I mean, Strider made it back in 14 months with the brace thing or whatever they're doing.
The UCL brace, yeah.
But,
that's a pretty guy, right? Yeah, the brace.
Yeah, but you know what? If you're pretty much not the same until, like we're seeing with Robbie Ray.
Yeah, you got to wait another. Yep.
I see in the chat, JG40 at it again tonight, Eric. He says, y'all, we're mad at Buster in the offseason, by the way, for not going after Burns, not landing Burns.
I agree. Yeah, that was me, man. 100%.
That was me. I think that was all of it.
You just don't know. That's a risk you take.
Eric, you can't not sign the best talent and go, geez, he might. That's Giants' philosophy.
Right.
Well, he might get hurt. We can't pay him.
Exactly. It's easy to, with hindsight being 2020, it's easy to go and see, look at this. Well, no one knew he was going to get hurt. No one had X-ray vision to look at his UCL and say, oh, that thing's going to pop.
The one thing you can start to look at though is so many pitchers are dealing with this issue now. It's like freaking like the flu bug or something, Go
out and sign all the players who've already had Tommy John.
Let's talk about this and something that needs to be, I don't know, you can't really do anything about it, but what is Corbin Burns? He was not really a high velo guy. He was more of wasn't he a sinker baller, right? For the most part. He gets a lot of ground balls as far as Corbin Burns. Who else is a big ground ball pitcher? Logan Webb. And he had a Tommy John about 10 years ago, 10 or so years ago.
Who's that?
Logan Webb.
Oh, yeah. Webb had it. Yeah.
You got to be careful, man, because, again, you just don't have a crystal ball and knowing when one of these things are just going to let loose. So, now, granted, he doesn't throw high velocity, but I don't think that's it as much as, heck, when you throw a slider, you throw a freaking splitter.
More of the arm angle.
It's yes, and what you're doing with your wrist.
My philosophy is, as a GM, I get a guy like Webb. I got him signed. I trade him before he does get hurt. I get me a really, really star current hitter. And then I just keep shuffling in my pitchers. I keep drafting pitchers. I got 5 guys that I could run out there, 4 young guys. I can bring up Wisenhunt, and then I got Birdsong. I got Roop. I got Harrison. You got Verlander that you can fill in. You got Ray. And then as those guys get ready to get a contract, I let them walk.
You let them walk.
I agree with Dan.
He wants to be the Oakland A's. You want to be the Oakland A's.
No, but Dan, you're right. It's easier to go out and trade for bats.
Yep.
Yeah.
Create
a
pitching factory, and sooner or later you're going to hit pay dirt.
Well, I tell you what, though, we got to be careful
because it's hard to get great pitchers.
I tell you what, it's great to see these young pitchers producing, but do we really know what they're going to be able to do? We've seen Birdsong. I like what I see in Birdsong. Roop has gotten better. Harrison, he has a much better year so far, but we just don't know yet. It's a little.
You got to look at stuff, and you don't really know. But I'll tell you how I rank these guys right now with this staff. I rank Robbie Ray 1 as my first guy.
Yes,
I got Birdsong 2. I got Webb 3.
Okay,
and 4. You can do a toss up
between Harrison and Roop.
Somebody in the chat says, "Oh my God, with the Webb talk, it's nonsense." You know what? That's Giants baseball too. It's like the fans fall in love.
Well,
with
no, you got to think about that because look at Webb. But Webb is having a good. This is probably one of his best years, to be honest with you.
I still find him too inconsistent. On
He's
game
been
day,
a
I don't know
500
what I'm
pitcher
getting.
for the last 3 years. He's
Yeah.
500.
No, but hold on.
Exactly,
Don't look at the win-loss.
exactly,
Don't look at the win-loss. Don't look at the win-loss. You got to look at what he does with his ERA. I'm telling you.
Are we a playoff team? When do we make the playoffs? So it don't matter to me.
That's fair.
I look at it that way too.
That's my philosophy.
That's how I look at it with Webb.
That's different. That's different.
You're not going to
He
win
didn't
anything.
sign a lifetime contract.
You're not going to win.
I get it.
Webb's here through 28.
I don't have anybody to yell at tonight.
Webb's here through 28. And I know everybody hates this idea. And you know what? I'll stand on the island by myself. I don't care. If you want to get our players here, you've got to use your commodity. If I've showed you the trade values, and you know what? I want to point something out too. I'm going to pull this up while I do this. I've heard some people say the trade value machine is horse puggy and all that stuff, right? They say that's not that. You know what? If you understood the trade values, 793 of their 850 some odd trades has matched the trade value. Okay. So what they're saying is their system actually works, and it's been very accurate. It's like a 90 or 88. I can't even remember the percentage, but I read it the other night. In fact, I took a picture of it here on my phone so I could remember it. And I will see if I can find that. Anyway, I don't know where
I think we got to build for the future. Do you see that while you're doing that, Dan?
There it is.
See that?
793. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, 798.
93.5% of the trades that have been made matched the values. So that's pretty doggone accurate. Webb's got a huge, like 82 surplus. The Giants don't have anything close to that. You know, and you're not going to trade Eldridge, and he's like in the 50 range. So my point is go shop and find somebody that'll give you a proven player that's already there. And I suggested Jackson Holiday the other day, or even a Gunnar Henderson would work. And then you can move Adames to second. Now you got an actual hitter. I would love to have a guy like Jackson Holiday, who's 21 years old, and build around a guy like that, and then Eldridge. And I have all these young hitters, and I got these young pitchers. Exciting. And you know who's going to be good? You guys know who's going to be good in the next couple years? Let me see if I can point to the hat right to get out of the way. They're right there. Whoops. Wait, right there. That team right there. Washington. Look out for this team.
Young team.
They are loaded with young players, and they're just getting better.
I think it's Tampa.
I mean, a couple years from now, Washington's going to win the World Series, I think. I'm going to say
again.
Yep, 2 to 3 years.
But I think if you're going to build a winner, you got to have somewhat of a floor. You can't just keep bringing in, little bits and pieces and stale stuff. And we got to, bring in, like you say, Adames. You're bringing in Adames, wanting him to be a superstar when he's not. Although, regardless of what Buster says, but you see somebody in the chat is a great take, and I feel his pain. It was Joshua. Webb is really the only consistent thing the Giants have had, and that's why the fans are attached. But Joshua, come October, when I turn on TBS for a change and I watch baseball, playoff baseball, the only consistent thing is I never see the Giants.
But it's not because of him; it's because of it's the lack of offense.
It's the lack of offense.
Trade him and get me some offense, and we got all this pitching.
Why not trade Webb? Why not trade Ray?
Because
I'd be fine with that too.
Right, trade Ray. He's not part of.
But why, Eric? Why? You like Webb, don't you?
No, it's not that.
Then trade Webb.
If you can Ray gets you more. Ray will give you more.
On Webb.
No. Webb will get you more. Webb will get you more than
trade both of them and just play the youth pitchers.
There you go.
You have money.
Eric, you like the youth. Let's do it.
let's look at this. Would you say all four of those guys are aces or maybe not?
Which one's Webb?
I'll let you guess.
That's no fair.
I'm going to guess.
I know which one.
I'm going to guess Webb is the third guy, 5-5.
Yep, that's Webb.
500 baseball.
Ray's on the left.
Ray is 7-1 with a 2.4 ERA.
So why would you want to trade
An
that?
ERA plus, because if they're not going to be in the playoffs, then trade them.
I think you have 1 year left after this year.
He's got one more year left.
Yeah.
Webb,
And
you
you're
got
not
2
going
more
to
years
sign
left.
him. You're not going to want to
No,
spend
Webb, you got 3
35
more years
years.
after this year. 3.
Yeah,
That's
Webb,
why
you
he's
got
not
No,
value
it's
so
3.
high.
Isn't it 3 with this year?
Nope, 3 after this year.
3 after this year. So even more. Okay. But for Ray, he's not part of the future. He's back for 1 more year. And guess what? He's probably going to go sign somewhere else. So get something for him while his stock is high. Take a guess who the other guys are.
Are they on the Giants?
No.
I didn't think so.
Dan, I'm in with you.
I'm
in with
up
Dan.
aces.
I'm on record. I'm in with Dan. Trade Webb.
But look at one thing I do like about Ray. He doesn't walk people. Oh, not Ray. I'm sorry. Webb doesn't walk. He's got the second lowest walk percentage.
2.04 with 75 innings pitched. Is that strikeouts 100 and is that like Hunter
Look
Brown?
at the strikeouts.
Garrett Crochet.
Got Garrett Crochet and Tariq Skubal on the far right.
Yeah, but look at Webb's got the worst.
The other two
record.
are a lot younger.
4 Crochet.
Yes.
A lot younger.
Well, how old is Skubal? Because Ray, I think Webb's only, 27, 28, right?
27, I think.
Yeah, he's still fairly young.
I think he's
Tariq Skubal, isn't he a free agent after this year? Or is it next year?
No, he's got more time.
Does he?
Yeah. Ray's older. I mean, Webb's going to give you the most value, but I would be fine with trading Ray for a bat. If
Ray will get you something. He throws from the left, and he's a strikeout freaking machine, right? And to be honest with you, Webb is kind of a strikeout machine this year now because he's now throwing that 4-seamer up in the zone.
yeah, look, I'm not against Webb. He's
No,
a
I
heck
know,
of a
I know.
pitcher. He's a heck of a pitcher. I'm a
Right.
fan of Logan Webb. I like Logan Webb. But I also,
You just have to have an anchor. That's what I'm trying to.
you know what?
Right?
I know what the Giants think about. He's a great guy and everybody loves him, and
Lottie freaking duh.
But I think if you really want to change the fortunes of the franchise, you've got to start doing. You got to think outside the box and do some. What was their record last year with Logan Webb when he pitched his 32 starts? It was like
14 and 18.
Something like that. Yeah, they don't win when he pitches. It's not like he's dominant like Robbie Ray and keeping guys down to 1 or 0 runs. Webb gives up 3-4 runs almost a lot.
That's why at the beginning of the show you had him as our number 3.
Yeah, I do. I like Birdsong better.
But I'm just saying a 2.8 ERA is pretty damn good.
And then that'll get you something. If you
The problem is the Giants can't score. Look at there was a stat last year and how many games the Giants lost by 1 run with Logan Webb pitching. It's ridiculous.
It doesn't matter though. If you got to trade him because it doesn't matter who's pitching. If you got to score runs. I told you that. How many times do I come on the show and say that?
I tell you what.
If we don't score a run, we lose 1-0 like yesterday.
I tell you what. In 2011, would you have traded Matt Cain?
You had bats, though.
We went on to win Worlds. We had a team. We don't have a team, Eric.
You had
other pitchers.
You had a nucleus of bats with Matt Cain. He contributed to.
I don't think we have a nucleus.
What I'm saying is he got a lot. He kind of got screwed as well.
He did. That was just bad luck. It was
because he had a lot of bad run support, so it's not like he had a freaking juggernaut playing behind him.
Right.
Baseball was a lot different back then.
It was.
Yeah,
it's true.
I just think that the Giants are. Where's the hitter in the system? When's he coming? Eldridge. Okay,
that's it.
Eldridge. Okay.
Yep.
So you're gonna have who's gonna hit?
Who's gonna protect him when he bats?
Who's gonna hit at third?
That's a great point. And this is the problem.
Right field?
So now we got to start analyzing. Did Posey make a good decision in signing Willie Adames? That's what I'm saying, because they're paying these guys to be that force in the lineup.
They're paying him superstar money.
So this is the problem. So you're going to have to trade somebody that should be good for your organization, but because you made bad moves, now you got to move off of that guy to improve the roster that you couldn't do through free agency.
He built the team with pitching, and then his idea of a cornerstone was Lee. I mean, he had Lee, but Adames and Chapman. He wanted to anchor that left side.
Yes.
And he wanted to give them 6 years together. And it says, this is the anchor. But what he didn't factor in my opinion, was that both of those guys strike out a ton and they don't hit well for average. Mm-hmm. You could strike out 20+% and still hit 275.
Right. But
to hit these guys are 240. Chapman's a 241 lifetime career hitter. Adames is like 247, but he's got a 217 on his back of his baseball card. Yes, Chapman's got a 210 on the back of his card. Okay. Yes. And they're getting older. And when you get older, what happens first? Bat speed.
And what's happened?
Decreases. That's what happened to Brandon Crawford. Brandon Crawford had a great 21 season. And then every year after that, he just kept getting worse. And 22 was not as good. 23 was horrible. 24, they let him go. And then 24, the Cardinals let him go and he's retired. How quickly did that happen off the 21 season? How far away are we from Matt Chapman and Willie Adames from where Brandon Crawford was? Because Brandon Crawford, his big year in 21, he was what, 32 years old?
Is that how old? Wow, I didn't know he was that old in 21. Wow.
Let me look here.
Well, look back to 1996, and I know it's not pitching, right? But Matt, the fans, there were a lot of fans who were like, holy shit, you can't trade Matt Williams. And then we get Jeff Kent. You got to give up something to
Wait
get
a minute.
something.
Crawford was 34.
To get hitting.
He was 34 in 21? Wow.
Yeah. So Chapman right now
33
is 32.
Oh, 32.
So
it could get me. It's coming.
It's coming. And yeah, Matt Chapman right now is 32, and he turns 30. When is his birthday? He just turned 32 in April, end of April. So, a year from now he's 33, and I don't think, if you look at his numbers, I think Crawford was more of a consistent hitter. But I don't think Chapman has shown that he's been a really good hitter. Adames, I think, is better than what he's showing. But I don't see this team. I don't see anybody that just says, wow, I think Jung-Hoo Lee is going to be a pretty good hitter. I think the league has figured him out and he's having to adjust, and he's going to have to learn to adjust. And I still think he's got 300 hitter in him down the road. This year I got him pegged at about 285. And so I think he'll get heated up again eventually. And, he's a good, fundamentally sound player. And I still think he'll hit over 300 plus in his career. He's going to compete for a batting title at some point in his career. He's only 26 years old. He hasn't even had a full season. He's had 4 months total they played 55 games this year, 58 games this year, whatever they played. And he played in 36 last year. So he's only at I'm not doing my math in my head, 85, 90 games in to his career. Okay. He's just over a half a season. So it's going to take him a while.
Right. Now, here's a question I'll ask you. Guys, in the offseason, what do you think is a bigger concern? Because first base is coming, right? It's going to be Eldridge for all intents and purposes, right? Let's just say that we don't know about the defense. I'm just going to say he's our first baseman. What is your bigger concern? Right field?
Catching in right field.
No, which one? Which one do you do? Do you go after?
Oh, well, obviously right field. You got to. Are you going to go with?
Sure?
We should know if Matos is in the mix by then. I hope. If we don't, there's bigger fish to fry.
That's what it makes me wonder, because I'm telling you, Bailey's bat is not major league. It's not. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's not me. It's,
No. And we're not, like Lou said earlier, we're not playing Johnny Bench baseball. He can frame the pitch. Dude, if he can't hit, he's a liability, man.
Look, there's a certain point to where, okay, if he's going to bat 220, I can live with that, right? But this 160, 170 business?
I think two things that I wanted you guys to talk about and we bring up. I think Chapman's not that great of a defense this year. If you guys remember Wednesday's game, I don't know if you saw it. He made a huge error, which opened a can of worms. The Giants lost because of his error, 4-2. I think a lot of times people praise Chapman. I've seen at least twice at home where he actually made an error and the plays changed because, he was a Golden Glove. He gets a lot. And then I think you bring up the catcher position. I've never seen somebody miss more short hops throws from the outfield home, pass balls, everything.
In blocking.
So now what's happening is now you're having three guys that don't play both ways, right? You have a problem. A guy that only has offense, not good defense. You have a guy good defense, but he's not good offense. Then you have another guy that can't hit, and his defense is mediocre. So now you have three guys in the starting lineup, let alone four guys that can't hit. You have a lot of flaws. And the only way this team's going to get better, because obviously we have the young pitching, is we got to trade somebody. We can't go with our schedule, guys. We cannot go June and wait till the end of July to make a move. We saw how tough the schedule is. If we do that, then the couple days before the trade deadline, and also you got to remember other teams are going to be trading. It's not like it's just us and we decide. Okay. And then what's going to happen is we're not going to be even 500. We're 6-7 games right now. We just spoke that we're going to be lucky maybe to be 2-3 games under because the next couple of months are very tough. Well, then you're a 500 team. Then we're at the same shit we've been doing for the last 3 years.
Thank you.
The Giants are close, but we don't want to do it. And I'm sick of being the same position every year. We got to do something because we've already seen this. It's gotten old. I think Dan at least has said, hey, guys, let's do something to the ballpark. Okay, if you're not going to do something to the ballpark, then you got to blow up what you have. Stop getting these guys. Stop. I don't want Yaz back next year. You know what? His time is done. He's been here 7 years. Enough is enough. I don't want Wade back. Get rid of him.
Winning comment of the night.
There you go.
Master hitters.
There you go.
Too many.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the problem is, if it's not Buster, it's the whole organization. These guys are happy of being where they're at. But, me being a fan, me being a season ticket holder, I'm sick and tired of it, right? I watched tonight how crazy. I've now seen it twice. This next weekend, the Dodgers are visiting the Padres. You're going to see a stadium rocking. The Padres have had problems right now with their pitching, but that stadium is going to be off the hook. If you watch these last 3 nights, the Dodgers and Yankees, it was unbelievable. You felt the vibe. Yeah. They don't have that right now at Oracle. Me and Dan have been saying there's no vibe. They're only getting people on Friday, Saturday, Sundays. They have 5 different gimmicks out there. I go to these games on Monday and Tuesday. I don't give a shit what it says. There's not 24,000. When I have 5 rows behind me that are empty, there's no way. There's maybe 12,000 fans, and I don't care if it's seats sold. Nobody's showing up. You could sell 24,000 tickets, but if there's only 12 there, you're missing a lot of the money.
So in other words, there's a difference between people who have bought tickets and people who show up for the game.
Yeah, people go, why should I go? This team's boring. I'll just stay home.
Yeah, don't pay $110 for parking.
Yeah, so they got to do something.
I agree with you, Lou. And you know what else? Lou? People will rest on this laurel that, look, we're above 500. It's a winning team. And I've said to Eric, when I was younger, it was all about the bottom line. What's our record? We got to win. Oh, my God. Lou, I'd be just as inclined to be entertained and lose and go home and say, holy shit, guys, well, we're going to have a great show. That was a game. And we lost. But to say we win and that's the almighty, I want to be entertained. And here's my final say on this whole trading web and trading guys and why they fall in love with their players. Eric, we talked about the Miami series last night in depth. When you're when you're losing to the Miami Marlins 1-0, and with one swing of the bat, you were lucky you won today. Anybody should be on the trade block. Anybody.
I completely agree, Glenn. But the problem is nobody in the major league wants any of our players. Nobody. Nobody wants Chapman's contract. Nobody wants Adames' contract because they're not producing. All we have are the pitchers. And
well, you and I are wrong, though, Lou. Apparently, you haven't watched our channel and read the chat because we've got the greatest trade bait in baseball.
No, we got guys we could trade.
Who?
But, no. I'm not talking about. Well, on the regular roster, Ray, right? You could trade Ray to.
But Robert doesn't want to trade pitching because he thinks pitching wins championships.
Well, here's the thing. That's the thing. And you got a bunch of young arms, man. I'm telling you, you're going to have to.
That cost you nothing. That cost you nothing. Yeah. That's why you could trade your big guys. These young pitchers don't cost the Giants anything. If you keep their 6 studs, including, Hunt down and Risen Hunt down there, it maybe is $20 million. That's it because they're on the minor league contracts. Mm-hmm. That's why you can get rid of guys like Ray. Don't need to pay him $30 million, but you get a bat. That's the only way we're going to get a bat. Yeah. Nobody wants the player unless we force them to play us. Here's the values of the guys.
Here's the values of the players. The surplus, if you could read that.
Yeah, I see the surplus. Yep.
82 for Webb. That matches Jackson Holiday, by the way. Bryce L. And it dropped. Webb was, and I bet he drops this week, depending on what he does tomorrow night. Does he's pitching tomorrow? Yeah. We'll see what happens. Eldridge, 56. Then you go to Ramos, Jung-Hoo Lee, Fitzgerald, Bailey. I don't know how that values at that. Yeah. I'll tell you what. Bailey's the most
Birdsong's at 11. So Bailey's at 23. I agree, Dan.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how they've got Bailey at there. I'll tell you what. Bailey has gotten so much credit around baseball for framing and pop time, but he's not a great receiver.
Yeah, he can't block a ball for the life of him.
And how many balls pop out of his glove that are strikes?
Backhands. He tries to backhand everything.
Yeah, but Houston, we've got a problem. Dan, you're saying he's not a good receiver. I hate to remind you, he can't hit.
Yeah.
Roop's
value. Look at how much Roop's value has gone up. You're going to see Birdsong's value jump up here, guys.
I think so.
It's going to be over 20 soon. Harrison dropped. Remember how Harrison was in the 30s?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, where's he at now?
Hunt. These guys are going to start picking up. They're going to pick up.
I think every single Giant guy is worth trading except Rodriguez. He's the only guy that I like. Nobody wants Rogers, but Rodriguez is solid. I like him when he comes in. Every other guy should be on the trademark. Why? Guys,
good
right
point,
now,
Aaron.
Good take.
We wouldn't even make the playoffs. We're not even a wild card team. We're tied for, the last position. So, after a couple of months and we're down, we got to do something because we've been sitting on our thumbs way too long. We have to do something major.
What do you think happens with Encarnacion? Does he become the first baseman, the DH? What happens tomorrow night?
We don't know. Tomorrow, I think he's at first base. I bet you he's at first base. Or he's a DH and they have Flores at first.
But don't get me all riled up again, guys. Don't get me, Eric. We talked about it last night. If he comes in and he rides in on the Stallion and saves the day,
it's one game.
That is freaking great. It'll be great if he hits the ball, the cover off the ball. It'll be great, won't it? And we win again, and all is well in this fantasy land we call Giants baseball. However, when you look back over your shoulder and you say, "Here's a Giant team." That they went out and found him in a freaking Mexican league, and he's going to be our savior. I don't buy into that. I just don't. Miami Marlins didn't want him. Nobody in baseball wanted him. He went to Mexico.
He sucked with the Marlins, by the way.
Hey, if Willie Mays.
Oh, well, is he going to be Eric? I don't want to call. I don't want to pull a Buster Posey. Is he a superstar?
If Willie Mays Willie
I hate when
McCovey.
Dan, move your camera. Dan's like he's sleuthing or something. I see him like peeking up. I don't even see the schnoz. I just see the eyeballs peeking over.
I'm sitting on two cushions. I get my sciatic is just on fire right
You
now.
make me nervous when you do that.
I got this stupid logo in front of me too. Get that.
Here, I'll get rid of the logo. There, I know.
If Willie Mays, Willie McCovey, and Joe Montana can get traded, I'm sorry, Logan Webb can get traded. Okay,
There you go. Nice.
we're not talking. I mean, people love this guy, and rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really good dude. He's a really good pitcher, but he's not lights out.
No.
He's not Tariq Skubal. He's not even Hunter Brown of the Astros. He's not Paul Skeens. He's not Zach Wheeler. He's not
Robert Ray.
He's not even Robbie Ray, exactly, who's more dominant.
Wayne Gretzky was the greatest hockey player in the history of the game, in my opinion.
Greatest.
Right, he got traded.
Greatest, and he got traded.
Yes.
And he cried. He cried. There's no crying in hockey.
He got traded to another country.
There you go.
But
he got to take his beautiful wife with him. I think she was from LA. If she was in Playboy or something.
Janet Evans was her original name, and her first movie, the greatest movie of all time, the Flamingo Kid.
There you go. Yeah, we all can't be so lucky, I guess. But I got a good one. I'm not going to say that. Yeah, I agree, Dan. You guys are all having great take. Eric, you're not bringing it tonight.
Hey.
But
it's all good, man.
Chart always texted me saying, Eric's just not bringing it tonight because the other guys are all good. But
that could be the problem.
You guys are all on the mark. All great takes. I mean,
I know that it's not popular to talk about Webb being traded. A lot of people think it's like blasphemy almost. You're stupid. Why would you trade your leader of the clubhouse, your number one pitcher, blah, blah, blah. He signed for 3 years.
I know, but doesn't that go that's exactly what Lou and I say. What is the love affair with why can't you trade him? Why can't you? It's a love affair thing.
Dallas.
Oh my God, they could never.
I don't think it's a love affair. He's a good
I
pitcher.
think it's a love affair, Eric.
Why would you trade him? Why do you trade him then? Are you trading him because he's bad, or are you trading him because you're going to get?
I'm trading him because you can get a haul.
Because he's good.
Because he's good.
Because he's good.
I'm trading.
But really,
him
it's also his contract.
But there's a lot of fans who do like him.
Oh no!
I would have traded IU too last year, and the Niners didn't.
If we trade him to more of the fans, there'll be a big section of fans that'll lose their shit. But if they're 19 games over 500 at the end of the year, and the two guys they bring in are just rocket scientists at the plate, then maybe they'll forget about Logan.
Okay, who would you trade? Who would you get back for Logan?
I'll get back to you next Sunday on that.
What team
I haven't got any notes on that.
Let's put together a package. Tell me which team is who needs Webb right now. Forget the Orioles. Forget the Orioles.
I would trade. You know who would be a good trade candidate? Baltimore, Cincinnati.
Forget Baltimore right now because Baltimore's so far back. They're probably not going to trade for Webb.
Cincinnati.
That's what I was just going to say. They're not in it, so there's no reason to have Webb. You're going to have to find a team.
Seattle Mariners. Seattle's close.
You're going
Detroit.
to have to find.
They're one starter away, and maybe
there you go. There's a lot of teams.
I tell you what, though, here you go.
Not a lot.
I think there's going to be there may be other injuries. Look what happened to Corbin Burns today. We got 2 more months before the trade deadline. There could be other teams.
There you go, Eric.
Who may have an injury, and then if they're in the hunt,
right?
How about
Eric,
the New York
baseball?
Mets? The New York Mets, they may be on team.
Things could change next weekend.
Right,
who knows?
I got an idea.
I would call Philadelphia. They lost their best reliever.
Really?
Maybe trade a reliever and throw in Hicks so you can get rid of 2. They always have hitters. Nationals have Young. Who knows? Atlanta. Maybe there's, you come back and you get someone like Webb, and then you have your stud coming back. It's like making 3 trades because we're not going to trade in our division, unfortunately.
But you also got to find a guy. You got to find the right teams who have because you're getting prospects back, right? You're not getting You're not talking about MLB for MLB, right? I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, no, that usually doesn't happen. It's because you got teams that are maybe that one pitcher away. Like, look at Detroit right now. They have the best record in the American League. But really, they have young guys and they have one stud with Skubal, right? But you add Webb to that. Now they're already saying, hey, we're in the playoffs.
There you go.
This could take us over the Yankees. Then you got to look to see what Detroit has. Maybe they have guys in AAA. Again, I don't really follow them. Plus, you got to remember the guy that runs Detroit used to work for the Giants. Yes. So sometimes Scott it's a little bit easier. So,
and when you trade for good prospects, like Dan earlier in the show, Dan, you pointed at the hat collection, which I love on the wall there, by the way. I love the fact you keep them in. I mean, it's like opening up the box score in the newspaper. I know who's in first. I know who's worst. You pointed at the Curly W's there, the Nationals.
Yeah.
And if somebody in the chat was beefing and they said, oh my God, can you imagine what Washington's saying now about, they traded Soto? Yeah, you trade Soto and you gobbled up lots of good prospects.
4 prospects. Turner, they got 3 prospects. Washington knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. So even if you are on the bubble, which we arguably are, sometimes you take a step back and then you just come out roaring like a lion. There's again, it all goes for me. I don't know about you, Lou, Dan, Eric. I just think that this team, the stagnancy, he's been around for a while. And for that matter, like I said, about when you're eking out wins over Miami and losing 1-0 games to Miami and losing to Colorado's, anybody should be up for trade. And if it means you're going to get better, why the hell not?
And if Webb didn't have four years left at what he's being paid, he wouldn't be a good prospect to be traded. It's because of his contract.
And quite frankly, of the 4 of us, it's Lou and I basically, by the end of the year, we go to about the same amount of home games. Lou, I don't see too many Logan Webb jerseys at Oracle Park, my friend. I don't.
No. In fact, if I watch a game, I don't hear, Webb's actually in the stands tonight beside in the dugout because, we have
Lou, let's go get a ticket for Friday's game. Webb's pitching. I don't hear that.
No, nothing like the freak. When Timmy pitched, it was the thing.
And still, even though, I'm telling you, if the guy hits 200, they're still going to have the Jung Hoo crew or whatever the hell
every game.
I can't even say it. It's so exciting. I get all tongue tied. But they got the crew and they're excited about it. Give me some excitement. Get me all fired up, Eric.
He's the most exciting guy we have. And right now he's batting 270. It's the only thing we have. If you look at the Giants, everything's about him. Everything's about him. People go all about him. He's probably the number 1 Giant jersey when you think about it. They have the Saturday. They have the Hello Kitty thing. Jung Lu is advertising it. He's also, they did, who was the last weekend? Was it when the A's were here? Every day they were giving away the Jung Lee shirts for extra. They
do it for every game. Every game that Bernice goes and sits out there, you get a shirt.
Yeah.
I don't know where you get the hair at. I love the hair. Dan, you could use the Jung Hoo hair. That's great hair.
But everything's about him right now. He's the only... and again, maybe it's because of where he's from. It's nothing like Ohtani. I mean, I got an argument tonight with somebody, and they were saying, oh, God, he's done incredible coming from Korea. And I go, please do not compare him to Ohtani. Giants made it out paying with 20. I go, come on. Ohtani's here. Lee's here. Lee's just sort of a little bit higher in our ends because we don't have anybody else. As Dan says, who would you want to see? Would you not go to the bathroom or go get a delivery? When he's up, I'll actually take an extra step to see, hey, what's he going to do? But that's it.
Eric, I've said to you on the show before I went away last week, a couple of nights back to back, did I not say to you, Eric? There's 2 men on. Here comes Bailey, so I'm gonna skip out and get a soda now so I get back for next inning, right? Because you know what's coming.
Yeah.
The law. When you're batting 161, odds are in favor he's going to get out.
Glenn, me and Dan talked about a thing last night. So since Wilmer Flores' 3-run homer game.
Oh, you're going to tell me about Eric and I brought up the stats. the 1, the 1, the 4, the 0, the 0, the 4. They're not scoring. So
they've only scored 4 runs in 3 times in the 15 games.
I say you and I pool our money. You and I should just buy this freaking mess, and you and I could run a better ship.
It's tough to watch. Lee batted 231 in May, and I think Dan brought it up the other day. Remember, he didn't play last year. He only played 36 games. Now, in the first 2 months, the league gets to see him because the league, remember, started in March. The league's now adapting to Lee. He's coming off a horrible, horrible month. He batted 228. As Dan said, in time, he's going to be good, but he's, let's expect him 260, 265, and he'll be leading the Giants.
You want to see a trade?
I'm irrational, maybe irritated, but not irrational, Tom.
You want to see a trade that Logan Webb could bring in?
I just traded for Torkelson.
Is it up there?
I traded for him in my fantasy.
There you go. Okay, so how's that for a trade? Logan Webb, Max Clark, who's going to be a stud, and he's in AAA. He's a young kid. He's like a Bryce Harper kid. Like, this guy can hit. Torkelson, Matt Vierling. Vierling's like a 259 hitter. He can be a utility guy. He's a career hitter, 259. Nothing great, but Torkelson gives you some pop at first base. Solves your first base problem.
Well, let's ask Eric. Eric, what do you think of that trade?
Which one? I missed it.
Just bring it up, Dan. Can Dan bring it back?
I can bring it back.
And then I was hoping, Eric, you got the list of all those runs.
Max Clark, Torkelson, and Matt Vierling for Logan Webb. Wow.
I'd forget about Webb after that deal. I'd forget about him tomorrow. I would love to see Torkelson and Clark play in our.
This helps us this year and the future.
Do you think they give up Torkelson though because they're in the hunt?
Well, it's the same boat. It's the same boat. If they're doing a show, if they're doing a Tigers, nobody be watching, I'm sure, like our show. But if they were doing a Tigers show on a Sunday night, do you think they're saying, "Oh no, they'll never give up Webb"? People are probably saying the same thing. So you want Torkelson? Trade Webb. Go ahead.
You could have had Torkelson in the offseason.
Right.
They didn't even try to get Torkelson in the offseason. They were so content with Wade that they had Wade, and then they were so, well, we got Eldridge coming. Why do we want to block Eldridge? Well, you get a commodity. You get a talent. It's a piece of – when you have something that's good, you can always move off of it again. There's no – the Warriors traded for Jimmy Butler this past year, help him get in the playoffs. They might trade him off of this next month.
Yeah. Hey, Eric, do you remember in the offseason, Eric, one of the the title, the Giants baseball, nothing like it. Our show was basically entitled Giants Baseball. Hopes. We hope. There are a lot of hopes.
There is.
We hope that he can hit better. We hope he can hit better.
Well,
we hope he can get on better.
We could all circle back. I mean, you went out there and you extended Chapman. You went and got Willie Adames. And the problem is if these guys were producing, we wouldn't be even talking about this.
I agree, but they're not.
I didn't want either one of them. And you know what's going to be a good test? There's a good exercise coming up. You know who's coming back in about 2 weeks' time? And he's going to be joining a good offensive team in Tampa Bay? Is Ha-Sung Kim. If he comes out and lights things up after his surgery, Eric, then
he's been out for a while.
Another Giant they should have gone for. Yep.
I'm kind of glad they passed it because look, he's still out. He hasn't even played one game yet.
He's rehabbing,
but we knew that
he's coming. Yeah, we knew that. We knew that. He'd be back in June. Another good exercise too, Eric. I was just saying when you were off camera, you must have been. It was time to warm up the coffee.
Warmed up the coffee.
There you go. Have you got that thing you can bring up that we had on the show last night? Lou mentioned it. The runs scored per game since Wilmer's 3 home run game.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Wasn't that Lou brought it up? That really tells a tale, doesn't it? Did you see it, Dan? Or you talked about it?
Yeah, it's like 14 runs or something like that.
Yeah. When Eric brought it up, I had said to him, I just 24. Out of the blue, I said, look, we're not scoring a damn run since I was away like 10 days ago. He goes, oh, you want to talk about runs? And he had a great video analysis of it. And It
Are you
almost
talking about over the last 13? Is that what you're talking about?
I remember the text you brought up yesterday, or the X, the Twitter feed.
30 runs in 14 games.
When you see it on screen, it really pops at you. A lot of zeros up there, ones and zeros, and a couple of fours. There it is. Look at that, Lou.
Well, now you could say 14 games without scoring more than 4, because now it's 1-3-1-3-4-4-0-3-1-1-3-2-0-4. So now it's 14 games.
Wait a minute.
See that line right there? That's why you can. That's
Hold
why
on.
you can trade a Webb.
That is my exactly.
Brutal.
I mean, and this isn't like, oh, guys, settle down. It's only 2 weeks. This has been going on for 3+ years. This isn't new. This isn't like, oh, what was the one thing? I think we all said it. The one thing that I remember saying, I said, I went with 86 wins just on a whim because I really felt like if they went higher than that, which I didn't expect, I'm covered. If they went lower, like 82, 83, I was pretty close. So I kind of hedged my bet and said 86. But I said it the last week. I've been saying it on NorCal. As currently constructed, this team will struggle to be a 500 team at the end of as currently constructed. It is not a playoff team. And I have never said this was a playoff team. I said they will be in it. I think they'll get eliminated, the last week. I don't think they get eliminated as early as they did the previous years. I think it's a better team in the sense that they're fundamentally more sound. They're a little bit more enjoyable to watch. The last couple weeks have been rough, but they're in every game because they're pitching so good. So even though they're not scoring, they can win. They have a chance to win every game. So for that, I got to say, they're competitive, but they're not.
Sound like the motorcycle club is out to get me again. There.
They're not. Yeah,
I heard it.
And Alive hit it. This lineup, it's what I said on the show with Marty today. This lineup will get blown up when they face the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Diamondbacks, because the Diamondbacks score, even though they're Diamondbacks.
You see them last night, 11. Now they put 7 on the board.
Right,
Boom.
exactly. So you are going to have a hard time against those 3 teams. And you got to play the Dodgers 13 times. You got 11 left with the Padres. You got 10 with the D-backs. So it's 23 and 11. You got 34 games with those 3 teams. And don't forget, you still got to play the Phillies at home. You got to play the Mets at home and on the road. You got to play Atlanta at home and on the road. You've got to play the Cubs at home. I mean, teams that can hit, and you're going to have to score more than 4 runs to beat these teams because they will put 4 up on you.
And let's not even forget about this. Giants, starting tomorrow, got 43 games left against the NL West. 43 games.
Yeah, I counted 33, and then you got the 10 with the Rockies.
Yes, and then there's only about 100 games left now, somewhere around there, just over.
What's their record?
And remember, they play the Dodgers 13 times, and it's like 13 games on the road since when the Dodgers come here, they take over the ballpark. It's all blue.
Oh, I think isn't it, Lou?
I think they're going to struggle when they really start seeing the Dodgers. I think they'll probably be like 3-10 this year against the Dodgers.
The Dodgers, I don't think we're as competitive as Arizona, Padres, or the Dodgers.
No, we're not. We're not. When you can't hit, you've got to be able to put up runs because you're not gonna hold the Dodgers to in most games under 4 runs. You're just not.
That's when you're asking your pitching to just play above their head.
Shutouts or nothing. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, when you go into Miami and you score 6 runs in 3 games, I mean, they won 2 of them. That's how bad the Marlins are.
I thought yesterday was a real awakening when I saw that. And in defense, I told Eric I was traveling back. I didn't see the game yesterday, but the stat line: 1 run, 3 hits, and we lost. I said, we should have won the game 1-0, right, Eric? He goes, oh, no, we lost 1-0.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but they had 3 hits, Eric. Are you sure you get that? I think you're wrong. Nope. We lost 1-0.
Yeah.
Here's
what I.
And there's too much of that. That thing you brought up, that text, Eric. You can fool me some of the time, but you can't fool me all the time. There are too many 1s and 0s and 4s on that list.
Here's what I don't want to see happen.
It's not competitive.
Trading Birdsong or Roop or Harrison or Wisenhunt for a guy like a Ryan O'Hearn because he's a rental.
Right.
He's a rental. And you think, oh, we solved our hitting problem here for, we really got first base solved. And he's
6 months. And then we have the problem next year again.
6 months.
I say they make a trade. It's got to be a blockbuster. Do a big blockbuster and get some real play. You can't be doing what Farhan was doing, bringing in names that are gone in 2 weeks.
If they're going to trade any of those young pitchers, they better be getting really solid players that are coming back that are not rentals.
Or that you can trade that people might actually want.
Yeah. I mean, I have no problem. I would like to see my biggest thing is with the Giants come the 25th of July, either be 10 over or 10 under. Let's not do this. I'm not sure what we want to do again. Do we sell? Do we buy? Be 10 over 500 or 10 under and be clear-cut buyers or sellers. It's just
hanging around that middle sucks, man.
It sucks.
It does.
But go get some real talent like Dan.
Pick a lane, Dan. Come on, Giants. Pick a lane.
Picking a lane.
And stay in that.
And you say Colorado could be the worst team in baseball history this year. Can you imagine the if you want to look at the other side of the line, you know how bad a team we could put together with all the guys we've brought in trades? The Lambs.
Mm-hmm.
Isabel says, have I seen the Dodgers lately?
I still like the Dodgers lineup, man.
Yeah, I mean they lost. They didn't have Mookie Betts yesterday, and they scored 18 runs.
Yeah, I know.
There you go.
The whole
and the people who come into our chat and they say, "Oh, they got no pitching." I say they didn't have any freaking pitching last year. They won the World Series.
Look, the Dodgers are kind of like the Warriors when they had Kevin Durant. They're kind of bored with the regular season.
Yeah,
they're just kind of waiting, and they'll turn it on after the second. They did it last year. Remember, Eric? We were like, "Oh man, the Dodgers are," and we had Ned on, and it was like, the Dodgers? They're not even playing that well, and all of a sudden, they just took off.
They did,
and they won over 100 games.
And they're going to trade for a pitcher. Guaranteed, they're trading for a starting pitcher. It's going to happen.
Yeah, and
that's their weakness.
They'll use these guys in their farm system that aren't that good, that are bloated up as, next coming of this guy, is next Clayton Kershaw or whatever. He's the next Reggie Smith. This guy can really hit, and they'll trade him, and the guy will be nobody's.
What's the word on Snell? I mean, he's been out forever. Is he coming back anytime soon? Because maybe they just wait for those guys to come back.
Yeah, well, Snell, they are waiting for Snell. They're going to slow play him, and I'm just curious.
Kershaw pitched the other day, gave up 5 hits, 1 run in 6 innings.
Wow!
Second start back. So,
wow.
And you guys want to? You remember the value of Logan Webb at 82? Yeah. They got Shohei at 215.
Remember we looked last year? I think Julio Rodriguez was in the 300s. Remember that?
Yeah. Yamamoto 133. Will Smith 104. Roki 69. Andy Pajes is that high? 46. I didn't think he was that good, but he's only 23, I guess.
We could put all our players on the list and they don't add up to Shohei.
Only the chat and Giants fans think we have great players, and we don't.
There you go.
We don't have great players. And more importantly, we don't have any carriers. Who carries the team? Nobody. Right now, Ramos. I guess Ramos.
Well, like you said earlier in the show,
what's carrying the team?
And last night, Eric said it last night on the show, and earlier tonight, Eric, You hit the nail on the head. We've been talking about when somebody is slumping or somebody, these guys were carrying, and Eric said it again last night. When you got 4 guys, you can't, when you got a bad hitter or 2, even 2, you can sneak them in the lineup somewhere. You can sneak them there and nobody will find them. But when you got 4, they're not blind to that. The other team see what you got. You don't have enough offense to make up for 4 bad hitters.
Yeah, we don't have the horsepower.
We don't.
Period. I mean, we got the pitching. It's fantastic. I mean, the pitching is amazing.
And earlier this week, I don't know what you guys thought on your channel, guys. So I wasn't on the air, so I had my own thoughts, and nobody got to hear them, which is probably a good thing. But they played Schmidt in Detroit, and I said, this is a great chance to go right back to a young guy tomorrow. And, of course, let's go lefty-righty again.
Yep.
And I was kind of disappointed.
They did the Wade thing. I know.
Wade came back in, and Eric, guess what my dad said?
Woeful.
This is woeful.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm going to use that on the show from now on. My new Giant Sports Talk Live, where we say the Giants are woeful.
And then, Glenn, guess what they did yesterday in the 9th inning?
So I'm asking, you agree? You agree? Why aren't they putting Schmidt out there? Did you agree, or were you fine with that?
No.
I think they should
Dan
play
brought
him.
up the great point.
Play him.
Dan said they should bring him up play him for a month and then see.
And Eric said on the show,
Eric,
I was excited today because on the show last night, Eric said, I want to see Matos. And when I saw the opening lineup today, I went, Eric must be excited. Now we'll go back tomorrow's lineup.
Tomorrow it's going to be a Strimsky. It's going to be
a good team, and you know what we're going to have on the field. You know.
It's going to be Yaz.
You know.
Yeah.
When you know.
Yaz is going to lead off, and then Ramos will probably hit second. Lee will hit third, right?
Alex, you couldn't do that. Webb for Tovar.
Tovar.
Tovar's not near the value of Webb.
Plus, to get a haul, you got to trade him to a real good team.
Right.
You got to trade him to. You mentioned the Phillies. I mentioned the Dodgers, or a team with good young players. If they made a deal with Tampa, I'd be thrilled at some of the stuff.
Hey, here's another thing that we're going to have to keep in mind too. The draft is coming up. I'm interested to see how Buster Posey does in this draft.
Well, what angle does he take?
Right. Who's going to be the first pick? That's going to be telling.
We going find me a catcher and lots of pitching.
Yeah, let's see.
Pitching.
Draft 5 catchers.
If they draft a catcher in the first round, you know that Bailey is not long to be in the rotation for very much longer.
I didn't hear him call him a superstar on camp.
No.
Adames.
Yeah, Edwards had 5 hits today, in as many as Wade's had during the entire month of May. Wow, that's unreal.
Isn't that wild?
I don't think this team will do a whole lot, to be honest. I think it'll be somewhat similar to what we saw in the offseason, to what Farhan did at the trade deadline. They'll try and nibble. They'll, I don't think they have – I don't think Posey's going to give up on too many of the younger pitching and some of a few of the top hitters. I just don't know.
Yeah, what the moves? Let's talk about that. What do you think Buster Posey will do? Because that's what it ultimately comes down to. We could sit there and throw out these ideas all day long, but what will Posey do?
I don't think, like I say, and I think Menason is the guy that will be trying to pull off the trades, and then Buster will have to approve them,
Shot.
And I don't know. Hey, I've been saying that too, D-Shot. I don't think that's why I would trade Webb. I don't think they're going anywhere during Webb's tenure. It's not that.
It's fair.
Hey, tell me when they're ready
I can't
to win with the lineup. You got enough pitching. You got pitching. You got young pitching, and you can also go sign pitching in free agency. What you cannot sign is bats. So use the biggest asset you have to go get 1 to 2 solid bats. somebody that has, for example, you don't even have to trade a Webb to go get a first baseman like Vinny Pasquantino, because they just brought up Jack Caglione, Kansas City. So that might make Vinny Pasquantino available. You don't have to give up a lot to get Vinny.
No.
But you could, those little types of moves, incremental moves, can maybe get you, you improve at first base from the left side of the plate.
Mm-hmm.
You can start making moves Vinny's not going to cost you a ton. You could go out and, the problem with the Giants is they pigeonholed themselves with Chapman and Adames, and nobody's going to want those contracts in a trade
ever.
Maybe a big team like the Yankees would take a Chapman or something like that in a deal. But then you got to go to Chapman.
Waive.
But I think you pigeonholed yourself, a 6-year deal.
And he has to waive the no contract.
You got a lot of problems. Well, this is a problem that comes up. Now we're talking about Adames, Chapman. Ooh, you're going to have to eat half of that or more.
Yeah, you're going to have to pay half of the contract.
And somebody, I think it was Senior, said the Giants got to sign a high school. We just signed a high school shortstop. It's supposed to be the next coming 6 years from now.
That young kid. They already signed. They already got him.
It's already signed.
Josar Hernandez or whatever it is.
Josar.
So he's like 16 or something.
Hey guys, we're coming up on 2 hours. We're coming up on 2 hours and 6 minutes. Let's talk about.
Louis says I've had enough of this bullshit for another week.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Hey, you're going to be over at the ballpark, Lou? We're going to see you on TV tomorrow night. I won't be there. So
no, I will not. I'm actually traveling first thing Tuesday morning, Belmont Stakes. So.
Oh, you're going to the Belmont.
You going to the long one, the endurance race.
No, well, it's not at Belmont. It's at Saratoga. They're running because they're redoing the Belmont. Belmont. Yeah, it's 2 more years.
Throw a curveball at me.
No, it's not me. Sorry, it was last year too. But no, I'll be next homestand. Boston. Who else do I got? I got tickets.
Boston.
Yeah, Boston, Marlins, Philly, Dodgers, Mets, and the next 3.
A lot of baseball. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, it's
July 1st. I'm hoping to be back, Eric.
It's
Lou, I'll see you at the park. I'll be there July 1st. If we got a home game, I'll be there.
It's rough when we come on here and we
I'll be at the Valkyries game then. I'll be over at the Valkyries.
Have fun.
Take off.
That's only.
I gotta get you. I got extra tickets.
Wait a minute. We have a disclaimer here. This is a
don't
dual
bring
show.
that. Don't start that again.
A dual show. NorCal Sports Network does not support anything to do with the WNBA or the Golden State Valkyries.
We made it 2 hours and 8 minutes in. Here, the shenanigans. You're pulling a Chardol now. It's time to say goodnight, Eric.
Did you see
the? You don't like the Valkyries, though, right? They did one of your favorite players.
You know what happened, right, guys? Lou, Dan. Talk about a bullshit move. So I had told everybody. I told you before the draft, Dan. I said, who they got to get? Caitlin Chen. They got to get. And then on draft night, it was the greatest. The Valkyries in the 3rd round select Caitlin Chen. I thought.
Didn't they
so I got season tickets. They had her throw out the first pitch at the Giant game, showing up at the mall. The ticket brochure said, I'm here. Eric's been through this, haven't you, Eric?
Been through it.
The ticket brochure says, come cheer on Caitlin Chen and the Golden State Valkyries. Media day on the Wednesday, front and center, first girl out. Local girl, won the national championship at UConn. Great. What do you expect to do in your rookie season? The next day, Thursday, the eve of opening day, they cut her.
Why?
She sold more jerseys. She sold in all NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL, pick it, soccer. She had the 4th highest selling jersey in the world.
No.
Number 4.
I'm not buying that.
She had the.
I never even heard of her.
She had the 4th highest selling jersey. And then I decide, so they cut her. So I say, I got no problem calling up the Valkyries, talking to my ticket rep. I'm going to call them and tell them what I think. They won't answer the phone, Dan. I call 3 days straight, 12, 15 times, ring, ring. You've reached the Golden State. So Valkyries, if you're out there, answer the goddamn phone. If you're going to trade, and you know what happens, Eric? Dan, Lou, they sold all those jerseys in the preseason and then said, and so I played the clip on the air. I got a clip of her and she didn't pull no punches. She was right on the money, right, Eric? She said, what did she say, Eric?
What is it? Oh, I can't remember.
It was a great line. She nailed it. She said this was a something
marketing ploy.
A something marketing ploy. And the word she used was basically like they screwed me.
So who picked her up?
It was a slick marketing ploy. They didn't pick anybody up.
No, who picked her up? If this girl was so good, why wouldn't somebody else in the WNBA?
Oh, I'm not saying she's good. I'm not. Whoa, oh, okay. I like her. So then people come in our chat, and I actually understand a little bit about women's basketball. It might surprise you a little bit. The guys in the chat were saying, "Well, they cut her because she's not good enough." But that was half the chat. The other half the chat's like, they cut her because they're not going to win with her. I said, then why did they cut their leading scorer? They had the leading scorer and the highest scoring player, and they cut her. So are they trying to see? Everybody says they're good, and I have a feeling they're after Juju Watkins out of UCLA next year.
Oh, so they're gonna tank it this year.
They're gonna tank it.
So,
but then when I know what my philosophy is. If you were a fan and you were following my logic, okay, if they cut the leading scorer and they're going to tank, keep who you think's the worst player and sell lots of jerseys and get the stadium sold out every night. But no, they didn't pick a lane, Lou. They didn't pick a lane, and they cut the player. And I was pissed off. They won't take my call because the first thing I'm going to ask is this call being monitored for quality assurance? And then I'm going to let her rip.
How long is Caitlin Clark out? Is she still out another 2 weeks? So when when Indiana plays there, no Caitlin Clark, why go to the game?
She'll be ready. She'll be ready. She's going to play. I think she's coming back early so she can play the game in Chicago against Reese.
Well, I think Reese is the problem with the WNBA. She's not good. She's
not
horrible.
Good, but
she's a horrible face of the whole league. If they were smart, I watch these games with her, Miss Brick Central, Miss Brick City. I mean, she's hurt the league. All she does is talk to tell you how good she is, and she can't back it up.
Oh, she's terrible. But she rides she has her own, like 4 clowns on Sunday night. She's got her own channel, and she's all about, what I did this. And then she's got her followers who are like our Giant fans. Oh, she's the greatest. And, she mops the floor she doesn't mop the floor with Caitlin.
No.
I got a great video to show
anyway,
you.
enough about you guys don't want to talk
show you a video in the green room. I wanted to show it to the crowd, but we can't. According to the producer, Ryan, we will get demonetized. We don't want to do that. So
you don't want to do that.
Anyway,
back with you guys, Luke.
Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here, guys. It was fun. Hey, this is fun, man. We
buy the squares, guys. Fill it up.
Yes,
buy the squares are going to be gone. Buy some squares.
There you go. It's a good
tell them out before we go out. You can get us out of here, but tell them how to get a square, Eric. Who do they pay?
They gotta pay Ibrahim.
Or just show the squares that are available with the Venmo and that.
Here, you'll see right here because I could get a better one than what it shows here. But if you're interested, I got the Venmo and I got the Zelle QR codes. And if you're interested, just let me know, and I'll put those up. And then you can pick what square you want. If you don't have a preference, we're just going to throw your name in there somewhere. So
and there's enough of you out there. Do what I do. I'm in Toronto. I don't know a soul. I'm in the airport. I'm walking up to random strangers selling squares. So if I can sell 12 squares to people I don't know, you guys can buy 12 more somewhere. Right, Lou?
I just want to win so I can get my free picture of margaritas at Thomas.
I want to win so I can get my picture taken with Wilmer again.
$20, Johnny. $20.
And
$20 per square.
$20, Eric. $20. what's
Two
that?
lattes.
That's
Two
a latte
lattes
or
at
two.
Starbucks.
There you go.
It's damn near a freaking.
Don't be
number
like
one.
the Jets. Don't be cheap like the Giants and buy a square.
It's don't be a square and buy a square.
All right. See you next week.
All right, guys, let's get out of here.
See you guys.
Wait, hold on. Dan, are you saying something? Or are you good?
Yeah, we just added to the pot there. So if you're the winner, you get 2 courtside tickets to the Valkyries with me.
Look at Dan. Look at Dan. Look, Dan looks like he's got to run to the bathroom.
Yeah, he's
Oh no, my sciatic nerve, man. I
got you.
Oh, Dan had Eric, I love you, but Dan had the best show while I was away. I tuned into one of your, just caught some of your, I scrolled through, see what you're talking about once in a while. Dan was, isn't it like, what is it, the show Texas Ranger? You know that show I'm talking about?
I don't.
Well, anyway, you had one show, and I saw you were one arm too. You were waving a walker. It was Walker, Texas Ranger, Texas Walker. You had a walker going. I went,
that
what?
Was last, that was last week's Hot Corner.
Bringing gimmicks.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Oh,
all right, let's get out of here.
Going.
We're out of here, guys.
See you
next
next
time.